Nilisema mwaka wa 98 kwamba nitajiuzulu ama nitastaafu kipindi hiki cha miaka 5 ikisha. Wengine hawakuamini kwa sababu wanaamini power katika kontinenti la Afrika, kwamba kuna mtu anaweza kuwacha power ya urais. Power iko kwa wananchi, na sisi tu ni wadhamini yao.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Afriq TV Live Talk Show. Of course, this is your home for political talk, a show that comes to you every evening from 10 p.m. East African time. Welcome on board as we try to answer questions that are running across the Kenyan heads. Good evening once again. I'm your host, Leo Nyabaya, and I would like to welcome you to the show. And if you're joining for the first time, kindly ensure that you click on the subscription button, subscribe, share, and invite others. And as you join me today, let me remind you that it is good you start by liking the video, then sharing with your friends. Karibuni sana na tuweze kutembea pamoja. We're back again with our live talk show, and today we are just looking at none other than the darkening of the nation through incompetence. For the last 3 days, you'll find that the country have experienced a lot of power outrage. We've been having power that is on and off. Yani, the KPLC have been misbehaving, and this trend is not good, for we know how important electricity is in any nation, not only economically, and even as far as our health is concerned. So today we are going to see why is it that we are really suffering, we are really darkening the country. And if you try to look at some of the forces behind this, you'll find that it is caused by some incompetence by leaders or by people who've been mandated with the responsibility to ensure that the country receives power. So top on the stories, we are going to look at the personality of one Davis Chirchir, the man behind the power outrage in this country. So karibuni sana, and ensure you welcome others so that we can be able to join together. So as we begin this show, allow me to take you back to something that is somehow related to oil, something that is related to the same Ministry of Energy, and that is the oil scandal that we had 17 billion being questioned. So have a look at this video and many other videos that we are going to play today as we try to see why is it that the country is experiencing darkness. Could it be that this kind of incompetence was intentionally done by the Kenya Kwanza by appointing people who are incompetent, people they knew had some incompetent background, had some poor background as far as running ministries are concerned? Did they do it intentionally so that Kenyans can be able to suffer? Did they do it intentionally so that Kenyans can be able to lose money through incompetent cabinet secretaries, incompetent permanent secretaries, and incompetent parastatal heads? So that is what we are going to try to answer today. So if you're joining us for the first time, kindly hit on the subscription button and ensure that whenever we are live, you get notified. And kindly, as you join me, also try to tell me where you are joining me from. You can just write on the comment section where you are following from, and you can also be able to share your feelings from the end of which you are joining from. And I'm also sharing a link there for those people who want to join the studio so that you can be able to participate right from the studio. You'll have to click on the link, then join me on the studio. Have a look at this.
We begin with the intensifying public discourse about the mystery 17 billion shilling oil importation. And tonight, Busia Senator Okia Omtata is claiming that the government financed businesswoman Njeri Njoroge to import the controversial fuel through the diesel subsidy program. Now, Senator Omtata also wants the cabinet secretaries Davis Chirchir and Kipchumba Murkomen to come clean over their alleged involvement in the deal. A deal, he claims, has now gone sour. Seth Olale with more.
Armed with a pile of documents, Busia Senator Okia Omtata claimed that the 17 billion oil shipments was financed by the government, with businesswoman Njeri Njoroge being the importer.
Treasury does its own things.
According to Omtata, there is sufficient evidence linking the National Treasury and Ministry of Energy to an unauthorized withdrawal of 17 billion shillings from the Consolidated Fund in June this year to finance a subsidy transaction to an unidentified private enterprise through the diesel subsidy initiative that was announced by the government to cushion consumers against the spike in fuel prices.
Then when you go and look at this statement of that monthly expenditure, you realize some big withdrawals that are beyond, they're only given 0.7 billion. But you find there was a withdrawal when Honorable Kuria Tani was still the Minister for Finance. In September, they withdrew 16 point something billion. Then sometime in April, there was a withdrawal of 9 billion. Then in June, there's a withdrawal of 17 billion. Now, when I was looking at it now, what caught my eye is the 17 billion shillings. Here, there's somebody nondescript claiming they have 17 billion worth of cargo of oil. The ministers are saying the oil is not theirs, it belongs to Galana. Galana is quiet, he's not saying anything. And now, I look at what did this 17 billion do that was withdrawn in June, towards the end of the financial year. You are told the money went to do what? To subsidize private enterprises. So my question is, subsidizing private enterprises, first of all, there was a policy of government that subsidies have gone out. So which private enterprise is being subsidized? And then the figure of 17 billion is exactly the same figure of the oil that's coming in.
The Busia legislator further claims that the 17.2 billion shilling oil importation saga is a deal gone sour between senior government officials in President William Ruto's administration and Njeri Njoroge.
That 17 billion is what was given to this lady, or was a lady was the mule through which that 17 billion was carried out. And now the cargo that is coming is the laundering product. So that it now comes, gets into Galana, and then it can become cleaned money that can be accounted for. So this lady was basically a mule that was used.
Omtata is questioning why Cabinet Secretaries Davis Chirchir and Kipchumba Murkomen are responding on behalf of Galana Energies, the said owner of the oil consignment, according to the government.
I then challenged Mr. Murkomen, who's a good friend of mine, and I'm challenging Mr. Chirchir to come out clean and tell us two things. One, why are they the spokesmen of Galana? Galana is a private company. Njeri is a private entity. Two private entities are fighting over a product. What was the role of the government in that product?
Senator Omtata now wants the controller of budget, Margaret Nakango, to explain the circumstances under which 17 billion shillings was withdrawn from the Consolidated Fund without her approval, and that of Parliament to allegedly pay an unidentified private oil dealers through the diesel subsidy initiative.
It is not just the 17 billion that is missing. We have 63 billion that is missing from the Ministry of Energy, of which only 5 billion had been properly approved. And I think the 5 billion did their work. That was their budget. That was the estimate they gave Parliament for their efforts. So when you take 5 billion out of 63, you remain with about 58 billion shillings that is not accounted for in the Ministry of Energy.
Energy CS Davis Chirchir maintains that businesswoman Anjeri is not the owner of the multi-billion shillings oil consignment and alleges that the oil trader presented forged documents to lay claim to the 100,000 metric tons of diesel while the commodity belonged to Galana Energies. Seth Olale, City.
Thank you so much, viewers and everybody who joined the broadcast today. I'm really glad that you're watching Afriq Live Talk Show. This is a show that comes to you every day from 10 p.m. East African time, and we are just trying to answer some questions that are unanswered within the political life. Today, we are looking at how incompetence can cost a country, how incompetence have made Kenya see darker days and darker nights. But the question that Kenyans should be asking, who is behind all this? Of course, today I'll be giving you some highlights about the one, Davis Chirchir, the man who is at the helm of the energy. So if you can be able to see on my screen in the middle there, you have the man that I'm going to tell you about. This is the man called Davis Chirchir. Next to him, of course, you can be able to see Isaac Hassan. That's a story that I'll also be able to tell you where they were and what they were doing. And we're also going to see how powerful is this man that despite all these kind of things, despite the calls by some other government officials and citizens that he be held accountable of what is happening, nothing is being done. Chirchir is a powerful man. Chirchir is untouchable. So these are some of the things that we're going to see. And I'm glad that I'm also joined by Captain. Kip is in the house, and he will also help us to analyze this so that Kenyans can be able to know what incompetence can do to a nation. So maybe first of all, before I welcome Captain, let me just tell you who Davis Chirchir is. Just a bit, though I'm going to tell you a lot about Davis Chirchir that you've never known, that at the end of this show, you will get out knowing the root cause of the darkness that we're having in this country. So the only question that you'll go home asking is, was it intentional or is it by design that the Kenya Kwanza government brought Davis Chirchir? It is not the first time that you're hearing the name Davis Chirchir. He's been in the ministry before, and he's now back in the same ministry. So if it is about institutional knowledge, we can say that he understands the ministry better than any other person who is a newcomer in the ministry. So the 62-year-old IT expert, Davis Chirchir, for your information, holds a Master of Business Administration degree from the Royal Holloway University in London, that is UK. And he's also having a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science and Physics from the University of Nairobi, prestigious university. And previously, maybe before he found himself as a cabinet secretary, you'll realize that he worked at the Kenya Port, that in the middle level position before he was promoted to become a general manager at the Kenya Ports and later served in the Telecom of Kenya. So all these we can say as some experience. He's experienced because he worked at the he was a general manager at the Kenya Ports. He also later served at the Telecom Kenya. You know the story of Telecom Kenya. We'll try to connect that. And before 2009, I think he was appointed after the disbandment of that. Just try to explain to you what is happening in the images there. After the 2007 elections that was really disputed, and we went to what was called the post-election violence. In 2009, the commission, the Electoral Commission led by Kivitu was disbanded, and he was appointed a commissioner of the Interim Independent Electoral Commission, the one that was called IIEC. So Davis Chirchir was a commissioner, and this commission was chaired by somebody called Andrew Ligale after the Electoral Commission was disbanded. And you will remember that that was in 2009. Then after that, around 2010, 2011, there was some fallout between Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto. So at that time, after Raila and Ruto fell, Davis Chirchir was among the founder members of this party that was called the URP, the United Republican Party, the one that was having a horn, a vuvuzela, ile ya kusema na kutenda. So he was the people who formed it, and actually President Ruto was the leader, Keter was the founder, and Chirchir was the first Secretary General of URP. And as I welcome my brother Kip, let me just remind you, for those people who don't know, there existed a party called URP, and a party that's, for the first time, this is the first time we are hearing, I know some of you are hearing the word hustler for the first time. I'll show you that the term hustler was used by URP. Most of you might think that hustler was first used by this thing called UDA. Hustler is a term that was used there before. It was there, it existed. So if you see Kenyans say that, oh, we are responsible for our problems, I agree with them. We are responsible for our problems. So let me tell you where this hustler thing started. And the first Secretary General of a party that identified itself with the hustler was called Davis Chirchir, just in a nutshell.
The United Republican Party, URP, formally joined the country's political fray ahead of the forthcoming general election. The party's delegates drawn from all the 47 counties gathered at the bomas of Kenya, Nairobi, to witness the launch. The party's symbol is a horn, and its colors are yellow, black, and red, with white stripes, and was formed after Eldoret North MP William Ruto led his troops in a walkout from UDM after protracted leadership wrangles.
Chama cha United Republican Party ni chama ya wazee, kina mama, vijana. Chama cha warefu na wafupi. Chama cha wafugaji, wakulima, wafanyabiashara, wauza mboga na mahasla.
Tunachopigania sisi hapa, sisi watu wa URP, ni kuleta maendeleo tuliyosema, na kuleta maendeleo si mtu mmoja tu rais, bali ni urais. Urais.
The party in its manifesto stated that it was anchored on 5 key principles, the top principle being strong family values.
The smallest block kwa kujenga nchi yetu ya Kenya ni jamii.
We are going to be the leaders who are going to give promises to our people, promises that will be achieved.
The party also enumerated a double-digit economic growth as one of its key priorities. This, the party leader said, was possible through devolution that would bring on board all the country's 47 counties.
Devolution will open opportunity for majority of Kenyans to participate in the baking of the Kenyan cake, so that it is sharing, or the sharing of that cake can be less problematic.
Progressive forces have come together and said enough is enough. Kenya needs a new leadership.
The URP party leadership also announced that if it forms the next government, it would develop a youth Marshall Plan to create opportunities for the millions of jobless youths.
From bomas of Kenya, we will go to all corners of the Republic, we will recruit our members, and by the time we hold our elections, this will be the party to beat.
Food and health security were also outlined as some of the URP's priority areas. To accelerate economic growth, infrastructure development was identified by URP leaders as the key ingredient.
We want to promise you, ladies and gentlemen, that within the first 100 days of a URP government, we will sign the necessary instruments to ensure that we have a standard gauge railway in our nation within the first 2 years of government.
The United Republican Party also announced that it would hold grassroots polls from the 28th to 31st of March and a national delegates conference a month later to pick the party's national officials and its flag bearer in the forthcoming presidential contest.
Let's return some dignity and decorum into politics. This is what URP wants.
Harambee! URP!
URP's slogan is kusema na kutenda, which literally means matching what they say with what they do. Whether they will be able to walk the talk remains unseen as Kenyans enter a critical electioneering period. Francis Gashuri, Sunday Live at the Bomas of Kenya, Nairobi.
You have it over there, a captain, from Wauzamboga to Mama Mboga. Serikali ya URP itakuwa ni serikali ya hustler, kusema na kutenda. The first 100 days of URP government. If somebody tells you that that video was recorded in 2011, I think some of you will think it is a lie. This video is similar to the ones that were recorded in 2022. I think I'll be right. If somebody tells it was 2011, the same videos, similar sentiments were recorded 10 years later. Indeed, URP did head a pact with the TNA and they formed the government in 2013, a government that ran and William Ruto succeeded himself in 2022. That is from the deputy president to president. Though the person in question here is Davis Chirchir, whom I've told you how he participated in the formation of URP, the first Secretary General of URP. I'll take you to the next step maybe later as we proceed and tell you how in the 50-50 agreement, he was made the Cabinet Secretary of Energy and Petroleum and what happened. So maybe just as the opening remark, what has changed? Have we seen any changes or things are just the same? We've had the word Wauzamboga. The only difference is that now we don't have Wauzamboga, but we have Mama Mboga. We've had the word hustler. We've had the word promises in the 100 days. So what has changed? Is it what we call it intentional incompetence, or is it a punishment that citizens are being subjected to? Because now the country is being darkened. And if you look at the forces behind the darkening of the country, it is something that has been happening on and on. Same people, same strategy. Are we learning as a country? Karibu sana, Captain.
Asante sana viongozi ya. Unajua where we are heading to and even from where we are, it is very hard to believe the government that we are complaining about is the one that we were fighting for during Mutembei TV. And now you have changed to be Afriq 24. My brother, the narrative of URP before they joined together with TNA to be Jubilee, it is still the same thing. Even 2027 is coming and it will be the same thing. We will not see any change. Davis Chirchir is one person that, let me say, I will have not trusted him, but I know from all the parastatal, from all where backgrounds of his life, nowhere has done something to be positive, only to take what it belongs to our people for himself. And I said the other day, yesterday, when I think you had disappeared, that it will reach a time where one community will be victimized because of 2-3 people that they cannot be a good leaders when it comes to managing a parastatal. Let me say this in detail because maybe somebody will say, oh, this guy is saying what? When we look at this Ministry of Agriculture, not agriculture, this Ministry of Energy, we had Charles Keter the other day, and he was trying to graduate himself by force to be a governor for Kericho. But it was very, very good for people of Kericho because they know this guy cannot cannot even qualify, because what he did during the time of being a minister in that Jubilee government he did wonders that even we cannot even imagine going back there. And until now, as we speak, the same problems we are facing in Kenya for Kenya Power, the airport itself, where we claim to be the gate in Africa, is raining. No power, no even the generators. And then somebody today is going there to say, Murikomen, I could know a generator. Anyway, I'll come to that after this. Charles Keter failed us during this thing on the introduction of CG tokens for Kulipa Stima. You understand what I mean? Now we are trying to heal from that wound. Another one again is coming. From my own people, let me say so, from my own people. Whereby now we are being victimized that we cannot be good managers.
No, listen, Captain, you've talked of Charles Keter, and I remember I've told you in 2012 when they formed the URP, William Ruto was listed as the URP leader. Charles Keter was listed as the former Energy Cabinet Secretary Charles Keter was listed as the party founder. Then this man called Chirchir was listed as the party secretary general. So we're having three people: the URP leader, the URP founder, and the URP secretary general. Same people, same script. Are we going to see any change?
No change at all. No change at all. Let me come to NY scandal. We were given somebody anabeba pesa kwa gunia. Right now saa hii tunapatiwa mtu ameimport mafuta, hata hatujui hiyo mtu ni nani. Lakini the government are branding this lady to be the owner of the business. In real sense, ameitwa pale, amekalishwa chini. Sasa wewe tumekuandikia consignment, una sign hapa, wewe ndio una receive, mafuta inakuja kwa jina yako nini. Are you seeing? Stop taking our people for a ride. Kama unataka kuibia wananchi, ibia sisi, tujue wewe umeiba, tumalizane na wewe namna hiyo. You see? I tell you, bro, even a friend of mine from the other side of the opposition side, let me say from Mukambani side, and told me, bro, sisi sasa tutapigia Ruto kura 2027. Nyinyi wale mulimpigia hii juzi, amutampigia, sisi tunampigia ndio awafinye vizuri. Sisi tulipiga upande hili, lakini tunataka kupigia.
That was sarcastic.
Yes, ananiambia nataka muvumie kabisa. He's a friend of mine from the Ukambani side. And then I told him, no bro, hapa penye tuko bana tunaumia. Na lazima tuambiane ukweli. Nimesikia mafuta sijui imepunguzwa sijui na pesa ngapi. Kama mafuta imepunguzwa na shilingi 5, the same ministry that is dealing with mafuta is the same that deals with electricity. Even right now as we talk here, we are using electricity. Nyabaya, even your phone right now, unashinda na mimi kwa hii unaangalia simu yako kwa sababu ya stima imekuweka pale. When our supporters ama our media subscribers when wanatuangalia wanatumia stima pia. Stima ni everyday thing in life and it has to be even subsidized.
It's one of the main factors of production. One of the main factors of production. For you to produce anything, unahitaji stima. Bila stima, we can't have business in any country.
Exactly. So my question is this: even with Brother Benson, when can we have those leaders who think that I'm enough with my salary? Brother Benson ameshika simu yake hapo, angekuwa amecharge kwa stima, angeangalia simu namna gani na angalia laptop yake saa ngapi? You see? You need to be straightforward. Somebody will come in and say, oh, somebody is talking this and that. I'll say as it is. And I'll tell you, enda sikilia uchungu huko umbali huko.
As I welcome Brother Ben, I can see Brother Benson is also there. I just want to bring this to your attention that, Chirchir wasn't widely known. Having told you that he worked as at the port, he also worked at the telecom. So he came to be known in 2013 after that 50-50 agreement between President William Ruto and the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, whereby William Ruto was supposed to give 50% of the a cabinet, and Uhuru Kenyatta gives 50% of the cabinet. So William Ruto proposed him in the position of the CS Energy and Petroleum, where he was appointed, but he was only in that docket for 2 years, that is 2013 to 2015, when now the President Uhuru came up with a list of shame for the MPs who are corrupt. Actually, I'll take you through that one later. There's a chicken gate scandal. And the scandal that actually after that, he found himself under some probe by the Ethics Anti-Corruption Commission, whereby he got suspended from office around March 2015, together with the Felix Kosgei. I know when I talk of that, there's a feeling that you're having. You are telling me that there's a specific community that people are now going to fear simply because of the precedence that is being set. So he was suspended together with the Felix Kosgei, who was in the CS Agriculture, and Michael Kamau, by then the CS Transport, and this guy from a course called Kazungu Kambi, who was heading the Ministry of Labor. And they were investigating some allegations that a company, this company was named, it was Windward Trading Limited, yeah? So the Windward Trading Limited that was formed to receive money from the award of contract between the Kenya Power and some foreign companies. So this is where the problem of Kenya Power began. So they formed some fake company that was supposed to receive money, awarding the contracts, the Kenya Power contracts, yeah? And you'll find that later on, we are going to see that how the commission that is led by Kiriako Tobiko, you know, the Tobiko who was rewarded by the UDA government, how they managed to drop some of these cases that involved even this Kenya Power Managing Director, Ben Chumo. We're going to look at that. And even the Chicken Gate scandal, I think, when I talk of Chicken Gate scandal, it takes us back to 2009 when Chirchir was a commissioner at the Interim Independent Electoral Commission. And here, IEC, and here they conspired with some company, the UK company, and did some things in the importation of these electoral materials, the ballot papers, the registers, and such kind of things. And the counterparts were arrested and were jailed. But here in Kenya, they are still free. So, Brother Ben, karibu sana kwenye show. Leo tunazungumzia tu mambo ya incompetency. The country is in the darkness. And if you look at some of the root cause of this darkness, it is the same problem. The same people who are given responsibility and are relieved of their responsibility during the time of President Uhuru Kenyatta because they were incompetent, they've now been taken back. Why do we reward incompetency? Because in this case, it's like President William Ruto decided to reward incompetency. And now we are seeing the results. So what is your take today? What can you tell Kenyans? What do we expect?
Nothing much we can expect from them because the history speaks for itself. You know, there is no way in which, like, somebody who has failed somewhere and you bring him back to work, you accept some miracles to happen. It will not. But I think by William Ruto, the president, rewarding this incompetent member of our citizens, it just means like these are people who are working closely with him. I think in Kenyan political scene, it is not about professionalism, but it's about loyalty. You know, if somebody is very loyal to you, how can you reward that person? Because all the people that you've mentioned, actually, they've been with the president for the longest time. During the time when president, you know, remember the days when they were in the previous government, not even previous government, because this government is a continuation of Jubilee, by the way. I don't see the reason why people call it previous government, because like 99% of them, of the people in government right now, were in the Jubilee government. So this is just a continuation. So it's a matter of rewarding those who have been with you and those who have played in your politics, you know. So you don't look at their character, you don't look at their professionalism, but you have to have them because they will continue to do that loyalty that they've been doing before. So even if they're messing up, you cannot call them out, you know. And this idea of talking of this was done because of the previous government, this is not done. Let us own up. Even if it was done with the previous government, how can we look at the failures of previous government and work on them to make a good decision out of their failures, rather than saying this is for them? For how long are we going to do that? Yet the delivery of services are not being done. So I think the incompetency, that one lies with the president. There's nobody to be blamed. That one lies with the president, because at the end of the day, when this government will be going down, the history will not judge the incompetent members of staff. The history will judge William Ruto as the head of Kenya Kwanza. He will bear the blame. So even if the staffs are messing up because of incompetency, that one goes to Ruto's legacy. So that is something that he has to know as a president. That is what I can say.
Thank you. That is really true. And
let me ask Brother
Yes.
Benson one question, Brother Benson. We will blame, or we will charge the president after he will have finished the term.
Yeah.
Now, if in any way that we want to arrest this president for the wrongdoings that might have happened, where can we do that? If possible, where can we do that?
You know, because right now, you know, the president enjoys so many powers, like the Constitution protects him, yeah. But in an civilized society, or the society that respects the rule of law, immediately you are out of power. You as a private citizen, you should answer some questions. And I will give you a typical example what is happening. When you look at US right now, President Trump is facing so many cases in several states. Yeah. But when he was president, he was not being followed. But right now, because he's a private citizen, is facing so many cases. And there's a good scenario. I don't know how that politics will work, because with the President Trump, if you look at right now in terms of political rating, amongst the presidential candidates of Republican, actually Trump is ahead of them, is leading them by a double digit. Yeah. When you compare President Trump with Joe Biden, especially these are states we call the swing states, is beating Joe Biden by a double digit. So is something that we are going to look and analyze on how it's going to happen, because he's facing so many charges in different states, including New York, Florida, and Georgia. Yet, in terms of political ratings, is doing well than even the current president. So what happens in a civilized society, immediately the president get off the office, then the law will follow. But once he's still the president, he has the Constitution give him that immunity. That's what I can say.
Now, I still come back to you because you are not answering me. According to our Constitution...
Captain, maybe if I just add on it, if maybe this one will be of help to you, what is happening in our country? There's something that you said, and Brother Ben also alluded it, that what we are having is a continuation of Jubilee government. I played for your video there. The same words that was spoken in 2013 when URP was formed, at the same terms, the hustler, the Mozamboga, are the same words and terms that were used in 2022 elections. So the same people, you've seen those images. I think you've seen people like Aden Duale. They're the same people that we are having in this current government. So the problem comes, it is so hard for these governments to hold accountable those people who previously mutilated our constitution, and maybe who previously mutilated and raped our economy, simply because they're the same people who succeed themselves in the previous governments. We don't have change of individuals. We only have change of parties, change of slogans, and change of tune and maybe blames. The same people. Look at Uhuru Kenyatta's government and look at William Ruto's government. I can tell you 70% of the people who are in Ruto's government were in Uhuru's government. So it is the same government. They have a way of convincing Kenyans so that we can be able to see them as new individuals. Ni kama gari umepiga rangi, but it is the same vehicle. So we've never had a change of guard from 2013. We had a change of guard in 2002 when Kibaki took from Moi. Actually, we saw different faces. We saw different methods. Then when Uhuru Kenyatta took in 2013, the same people have been recycled. So it is likely, and not unless maybe when somebody is going to take from William Ruto, then we see different faces. People, we don't want to see people like right now. We have people who are in Azimio. They've jumped the ship. They've now gone to what? UDA. So do you want to tell me these people are different? If by any chance even people from UDA come back to Azimio, that they form the next government, it is still the same government. I think that is what is making it hard for us to follow up. Nobody is going to follow up on Uhuru Kenyatta, because if you start following up on Uhuru Kenyatta, you'll find that the people who are in these ministries, they're the same people who've been appointed by William Ruto. So it's like they're going to be investigating themselves. They're going to be vindicating themselves. So that is why it is so hard.
And just only to also to add to Captain, it's the leaders, because in our country what usually happens is that we only respect the constitution when it deemed us. We only force it when it supports us, but when it doesn't support us, we don't do it. We've seen it with all the government that have been there. We've seen it with the opposition and everywhere. So if we could have been like a country of law and respecters of constitution, the majority of even people who are elected right now, some of them could have not been the leaders that we have. When you look at chapter 6, if you scan around, none of the leaders that are in parliament would be there. But since we do not have that will to enforce the law, or we do it when it favors us, that's the reason why we are where we are. Like Chirchir could have not even been at the ministerial post, the CS, if to say, yeah. But because the law or the enforcers of law are not respecting the constitution, so it just be because he's a friend to the president. Now we oversee that. Then is okay for him to be there, and nobody can stand and say that he's not worth to be there, because of the loyalty. You don't want to lose that loyalty even from president. So that's what also happens.
Okay, you see now, Nyabaya and Brother Benson, where we are failing now is because I am appointed as a minister, but the same appointing authority, I'm working under the telephone. Do this, do that. Are you seeing? I'm not independent to do my work. We cannot be looking Trump being taken to court after presidency, but we want our people to behave like Americans or overseas people. But for us, when it comes to leadership, we don't want to do that. Why are we so? Why are you so partisan when it comes to leadership, but when it comes to emulating what they are doing, we don't want? Why are you so? Don't tell us that, we are going to America. Mtu ameenda America can be a very good person. Yes, mimi nikienda America as an ordinary citizen kama Kasimo Joy, I must behave very well. But also you the president, kama Trump anawekwa ndani kwa sababu ya makosa ile alifanya akiwa kwa kiti, hata sisi tunataka tukuweke ndani. Kwa sababu unatukosea, unatufanyia mambo ile haiwezekani. Unanifanya hata nikituma mtoto wangu aende dukani, when I send my daughter to go to my shop there to buy me Safaricom line. Baba, na ya sweet. What does it mean? What does it mean?
Have a look at this. Have a look at this.
Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir and former Kenya National Examination Council Chief Executive Officer Paul Wasanga pleaded their innocence over the Chicken Gate scandal. The two, who were summoned at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, have called for a speedy and thorough probe into the scam to bring it to a reasonable conclusion.
It was the turn of the former Kenya National Examination Council CEO Paul Wasanga and Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir to answer to allegations of fraud and corruption in the Chicken Gate scandal. First up at the EACC was Wasanga, who was grilled for hours before letting in the former IEEC officer. The two maintained their innocence over the Chicken Gate scam.
For NEC, since NEC started 1980, they have been with other institutions. They have also printed examinations. And when I took over as the CEO in 2005, I found them, they were printing examinations for us.
Because my name could have been mentioned in name dropping, but if you have evidence to really prove, because you do know the law, if there's evidence from anywhere that can pin down whoever needs to be pinned down so that this country can move forward, that's what I'm encouraging. We cannot say because your brother was jailed and you live in the same house and you blah, 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 you are also guilty.
The Energy Cabinet Secretary, in fact, went ahead to dare anyone with evidence on the Chicken Gate scandal to present it to the Anti-Corruption Agency. Chirchir claims he has never been in contact with the directors of Smith & Usman, jailed recently in London over the scam.
To the extent that even an agent of Oyomra possibly accessed me, that is the evidence we are looking for. Tusaidiane, tumalize hii changamoto so that we can move forward and stop occupying our headlines with things which are not helping this country.
Taking cognizance of the buzz created by the Chicken Gate scandal both locally and in the United Kingdom, the former NEC CEO denied demanding for kickbacks to award the United Kingdom-based printing firm tenders.
Well, all other printers were pre-qualified. We have 9 other printers which were pre-qualified, but the awarding of the tenders for Smith & Usman has been above board, where they have been, it's only that they, in the times when they have printed examinations, they have won the tender. And not that they were given free, they have won the tender.
The Anti-Corruption Agency is probing top former IEC and NEC officials over the Chicken Gate scandal, a multi-million scandal dogged with confluence, fraud and bribery in awarding of tenders. Samogina KTN.
So that was what I was telling you, and you'll find that the commission later, the Anti-Corruption Commission later asked the director of the public prosecution, who was by then Keriako Tobito, to close a file on investigations that linked Chirchir and the Kenya Power Managing Director Ken Chumo to the corruption. Then after that, you'll find that he had also been cleared in a case where the claims that he attempted to influence the Kenya Power Pipeline, the Kenya Pipeline Company tender worth about, it was around 500 million to Sinopec instead of Zakim Company. Those are some of the cases that this man had been having, and prior to his leaving this position that he held in 2015, that is the CS Energy and Petroleum, you'll find that this guy was called on by people like Opio Wandai. I can remember they pushed for his sacking until Uhuru Kenyatta had to say that now he provided something, the famous list of shame. He was among the people who were shamed there. So though you've seen him, he denied all these charges, and he said that he did not have contact with these guys, and he denied, and he said that this prosecution, these are just mere allegations. If you have evidence, you can go and prove it, until the case was dropped. But before the 2022 elections, people will be asking, where was this Chirchir and why is he back again? You remember before 2022 elections, Chirchir was serving as the chief of staff in the office of the deputy president. This is after there was this guy called, how was he called? This guy called Ken Osinde. There's a guy called Ken Osinde who was the chief of staff, and this guy, actually, he died mysteriously. I think his body was picked or something like that. After that mysterious death is when Chirchir was appointed in March 2022 to be the chief of staff in the office of the deputy president. I think this one was done strategically, knowing, remember in that scandal for the Chicken Gate, we also had people like, how do we call her? The current Wasingishu women rep, who was also working for the IEC, this lady called, I'm forgetting the name. Shole, Gladys Boss, Gladys Boss was also there. So he was there, and he was among the people who are believed to have delivered this win to William Ruto. And actually, towards the end of the 2022 elections, everybody was talking of Chirchir. Chirchir was really famous. And you remember after the elections in August, his name also appeared in the Supreme Court case that was filed by Raila and Karua. And he had to go and clear his name, and these guys accused him of creating a certain parallel tallying center where these results used to be transmitted. They get altered is when they get transmitted to the IABC center. But through his affidavit, he managed to tell the court that he didn't interfere with IABC entries, he did not interfere with the KMSK, he did not manipulate anything. But he was adversely mentioned. People mentioned him in that case. as one of the people who helped in rigging of the 2022 exam. So that one brings the question why he's so powerful. He's been involved with these activities. He's been involved with the electoral body when Ruto and Uhuru were
But you see, Nyabaya, you are giving a good name that is powerful, yet is appearing in anything negative always. Negative always.
Actually, anything negative. Actually, there he appeared with the former CEO James Oswago. There was Gladys Boss. So they're the ones who are Kennedy Nyaudi, I think, was the IEBC.
And remember, do you know he has an internet connection company in Kenya.
Actually,
he has an internet fiber something connection. But later on, I don't know what he did. It failed. It falls down. Then later on, this other one by fiber cast TV and all whatever, fiber Voji, that later on came in, that you have now. There's a name there.
I know this guy worked at Telcom, and you know what happened to Telcom?
Yes.
No longer.
So he introduced
Telcom wasn't able to compete with the private entities like Safaricom. Right now, we will be having a bigger Telcom, but what happened? So these are some of the questions that Kenyans we need to be asking ourselves. If you talk of incompetency, why do you say this guy is incompetent? He touched the Telcom. Where is Telcom today? Is it successful? Now, when he went to this Ministry of Energy, we know the scandals that were there. So why always him? This is the question you should be asking. Why always him? Why always negative things? Karibu sana Melchizedek. I can see you joining us. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Yeah, so we are here today. We are just looking at how Kenya is really getting darker and darker. We can no longer have electricity, and people are almost going to what is called power rationing. But if we look at the forces behind it, we find that there's a specific player, there's a specific individual who is not new. This is somebody who's been there before. The same mistakes happened. He was shown the door, but now he's been brought back. So the question we're asking today, is it a punishment that the Kenya Kwanza is giving citizens? Or is it that they placed him there strategically so that they can be able to benefit? So who is benefiting in this, all these kind of things that is happening?
Okay, I get when you are people discussing, so I'm just trying to bring up some small idea because you are touching. You are touching my field where I am, because I'm doing electrical, and I understand it a little bit, not that much. Because no one's perfect. Because when we are seeing what is taking place in Kenya, it's somehow horrible. Because you cannot tell ya kwamba stima imepotea na mko na backup ya generator. Then the generator at the same time pia haiwezi waka. It is something impossible, because once you are doing this backup, kuna kitu ambayo tunaitwanga the automatic switch. We can call it like that. For those who are shallow in electrical, we have what is called automatic switch. This automatic switch is just to convert or to divert. When something is not working, the other one is working. So when mtu mzima mwenye akona kilitimamu anaweza simama ati yeye ni CS anasema ya kwamba we have downfall or something, which is something that everyone can see or someone can touch, because this one is geothermal and we have this one is something that is a man-made. So we only use the petrol to start it, or the diesel to start it, which is very easy for this one to start once the stima imeenda. So unapata ya kwamba hao watu wanatuchezea akili. Kitu ambayo wanajaribu tuchezea ni kitu moja. Kama waibi mahali, kuna kitu wanafanya secretly ambayo Wakenya wajue. Kwa sababu huwezi kasema ya kwamba stima imepotea. 3 executive in 1 year, kama uko kwa nini, kama uko kwa the power, imeipotea ya kwanza, imepotea ya pili, imepotea ya tatu. What about the other regime? Haikuwa kitu kama hii haikufanyika. Kama ilifanyika labda si kwa Kenya. Because sijawahi sikia ati blackout imefanyika airport ambayo kila mahali imekuwa maybe 4 hours to 3 hours. This is the first time I'm hearing this, and it's very unfortunate that sisi pia tunaona, but we cannot question what is taking place here. Then mtu ana blame mtu ambayo tayari alishaenda nyumbani 1 year ago, at the end alileta nini yenye imeharibika. Kwa nini wakati yenye alikuwa kwa power hii generator ilikuwa sawa hata kama stima ilikuwa imeenda? Kwa sababu stima inaendanga Kenya. That one is something that normally hata kama penye tuko stima huwa inaenda kwa sababu ya sometimes high voltage ama there is short circuit, kitu kama hiyo. But the backups, you cannot tell that the backup also is fails. So we should ask ourselves, why are these people playing with our mind? Especially huwezi cheza na kitu yoyote kama maneno ya stima, kwa sababu by that time watu wako kwa hospitali wagonjwa wanateseka huko. Kuna wenye walikuwa kuna wenye wako CU, kuna wale ambayo tayari yamewekwa kwa oxygen. Hiyo stima ikipotea utapata ya kwamba hao watu wanasafa. Then kitu muhimu sana ni airport, ambayo huwezi sema ya kwamba hakuna backup, kwa sababu hiyo runway kuna hiyo maneno ya stima, lazima iangaliliwe vizuri vile stima vile ndege imepaa ama vile ndege imefanya nini imetoka. So it's very unfortunate watu wanatuchezea akili sana, na utufujadhari wanatuchezea hivi miaka nenda miaka rudi bado wanatuchezea. So we have to think about it na tutengeneze kitu ambayo inasemanga the unity, na tuseme enough is enough, na tuwaface tuambie ya kwamba hapo mlitudanganya, mkuje na kitu ambayo iko friend free, na tuone ya kwamba this is what is taking place.
Yes, Captain, unataka kusema kitu?
Nataka kuuliza ndugu yangu Odhiambo swali kwamba nikisema kwamba hawa watu wanapoteza stima, wanasima stima, wanakataa kuhakisha generator airport, ndio baada ya miezi 2-3 tuambiwe tumeamua kuprivatize KPLC ndio stima isikuwe inapotea. Am I wrong when I say something like that?
Yeah, I can say you are wrong, because this is something that even you yourself you are seeing it. You cannot say that you are preserving something. Stima huwezi sema kwamba una preserve ili tupate units some days. No. Stima, this is a current.
I did not get you well. Ajasema preserving. They want to sell it as a private.
Ni kama mnapunguza stima, mnakata, mnaweka ovu, wa Kenya wanakaa in darkness, alafu mnakuja mnatuambia tunataka kuprivatize. Ndio kama stima itapotea tutauliza ile contractor tulikupatia contract ya kuprivatize stima kwako, mbona stima inapotea? Say that the government will be having somebody to blame. Am I saying wrong? And this person who is given this stima privatiziwa to this person, themselves.
Yeah, that's what I start saying. Yeah, that's what I
put it like that.
According to me, that's what I start saying, that there is something that these people trying to show or they're trying to look. Unaona? Ama kuna kitu ambayo wanaiba ambayo Wakenya wajui, wanafanya in darkness, so ili upatikane ya kwamba by the time wametengeneza time, ikifika hii time tutengeneze hii ifanywe, stima ifanye ama generator ifanywe, ili to blame watu wengine kwamba this is what was happening. Unaona?
So I think I'll also agree with Captain in this way. Yeah. Umejua Kenya Power #1 is monopolized. It's a monopoly. There is no competitor. It is only Kenya Power, and Kenya Power it's alone. And if you want to try some other sources like solar, which is cheaper, the government makes it expensive because of a lot of regulations. Actually, solar is expensive in Kenya than in any other country in Africa. So what the government is planning to do is this. Because I know the solution is not privatizing Kenya Power. The solution should be removing that monopoly so that you can allow other actors or other investors to come with other companies so that they can be able to compete Kenya Power. But they don't want to do that because they are the major shareholders. Nditi Nyoro is the leading shareholder in Kenya Power. So what they want to do is this. If today they tell you that, like right now, they want to privatize every company, wanataka kupatia, nasema tunapatia private individuals. And they know very well if they tell you they want to privatize Kenya Power, people will complain. So to make them do it easily, they have to make it fail first. The same thing they did with the sugar industry. For you to privatize Nzoia or to privatize Muhoroni or Sony, you must show citizens that Muhoroni is not making any profit, Muhoroni inaanguka, so that when you come to the villagers, Pale, Bigori, and tell them that, look, this Sony sugar is not giving you value. The government is not able to run it. It is making losses. But if we give somebody called Singh or we give somebody called Rai, it will be able to rise up. So they're looking for ways of making Kenya Power appear to be failing. That they say now, to make Kenya Power work, let us give some private individuals from India or private individuals from China. Yet we know these private individuals too, so that they can now buy it. So once they buy it, is now a private property. And number two, it is also going to enjoy monopoly since hakuna competitor. Then they can now sell us power venye wanataka. In Ruto's own words, anasemanga watatuuzia stima venye wanataka. Wakisema leo ni rationing. Hakuna mali mtawapeleka, hakuna kitu mtafanya kwa sababu hakuna alternatives. That also makes sense. I think this government is just evil. This government is evil because the people wenye wako pale ni wale watu wale tu. Look at what they told you on the G2G oil program that is going to ease the pressure in the dollar. I want to play for you this video and tell me if they really achieved this, if the pressure in the dollar ilikuwa eased ama pressure ya dollar bado ndio imezidi. Because from where I sit, I can see that the pressure of dollar has not been eased. There's a lot of pressure, and that is why right now our dollar is almost hitting 160. Shillings against a dollar.
The government has renegotiated the terms of the government-to-government oil deal to remove the confirmation charges slapped on the letters of credit secured from banks, as well as the premium freight expenses, which should help reduce the cost of petroleum cargo docking in the country going forward. The government has also come out to defend the deal, saying it has lived up to its bill as far as easing the foreign exchange pressure on the shilling is concerned. Brian George has the details.
For months after inking the much-hyped government-to-government deal for importation of petroleum product on credit, the shilling has remained under immense pressure against the dollar and breached the 140 units mark on June 26th. This has prompted questions as to whether the government-to-government deal was adequately designed to offer any respite for Kenya's foreign exchange market and stood a real chance of addressing the dollar crunch that has gripped the market. Energy Cabinet Secretary Chirchir now says that the government has managed to renegotiate some of the terms of the deal to favor the ordinary Kenyan.
We were seeking to remove the confirmation charges on LCs, and more importantly, to renegotiate the F&B, the freight and premium, which has since come down and which was locked at the time when we went to tender. It was at a high of 100 plus. And currently it is something between 40, 60, 70, and that was also successful, Chair.
Chirchir has come out to defend the government-to-government deal, saying it has lived up to its billing and has helped stem the slide of the shilling against major currencies in the global market. Despite having breached the 140 units to the greenback mark, Chirchir argues that the pace of depreciation has moderated to just a third of what it was in the pre-government-to-government deal phase.
The G2G has eased pressure on the shilling with a reduction in the depreciation against the US dollar from a high of 3%
3% every month. It was our shilling was depreciating at the rate of 3% every month, and currently, if you follow the micro and macroeconomics from central bank, you will see the depreciation being published at an average of 1%. So a depreciation of 3% to 1% is a great saving for this country. More importantly, we eliminated the spot purchases of US dollars by those over 100 marketing oil companies who really created a lot of speculative tendencies in the market when they all went to the market.
Chirchir further revealed that the government has set aside $503 million, just about 71 billion shillings, in an escrow account dedicated to a settlement of the first installment of payment of petroleum product received under the government-to-government deal entered in March between Kenya and Saudi Arabia.
$503 million sitting in the account, the escrow account, and some 57 billion Kenya shillings, which is in the escrow account dedicated for payments of these products when they come and fall due.
A section of the oil market retailers have reported a plunge in the consumption of petroleum products in what they term as the outcome of the standard rating of the value-added tax at 16%. Brian Jojotieno, NTV, Nairobi.
Coffee farmers in Githunguri constituency are calling upon the government to intervene.
Yes, that's what I was trying to tell you. Oh, somebody on the comment section is saying that privatization is good because it improves efficiency and the quality. That is true. But in this case, we are having, you want to privatize maybe a company that is enjoying monopoly. It is the only one, at least when it is under the government control, even if it is the only organization, the government can be able, but the government cannot be that able. If you have a considerate government, actually, they'll have to consider the interest of citizens. So imagine a situation whereby Kenya Power is the only one like currently providing power to the country, then you give it to the individual, a private investor. And you know, these private investors, the first thing on top of the agenda is normally profit. A government entity can make losses because the government doesn't have the business doing business with its citizens. So now you give it a private investor whose main aim is to make profits. What do you think is going to happen to this country? Or try to imagine a situation whereby we only have Safaricom. The main reason why the Safaricom prices or maybe the charges are always favorable is because we have Airtel there giving them competition. We used to have Telcom giving them competition. So the moment they try to rise up, these are the guys will always try that they level the ground. So I think that is what Kenyans are really concerned about. And now that we're having challenges in this ministry, specifically energy, it's really dangerous to again give it to the private entities, knowing that the government that we're having is not a stable government. We're having a government that cannot be trusted. Yeah. So Melchizedek, I think you can proceed and maybe give us your thought on that. Do we need to make Kenya Power a private entity so that we can be able to solve this kind of problems that we're having every now and then?
Okay, before I say something about that, what I'm seeing in this government, wanaona ya kwamba zile vitu, hizi vitu zenye ziko juu ndio ziko chini kwao, kwa sababu maybe I'm the one getting it wrongly, because unasema kwamba now the dollar is depreciating to 1, yet tunaona ya kwamba is 106, but before it was 140. So which is which? You know, there is something there people don't see, or kuna kitu ambayo imefunga macho za watu ama ni nini? You know, I still think there is something wrong somewhere, because even before yesterday, the so-called president amesema ya kwamba the economy is stable compared to the last regime. So when you see everything that is taking place in this government, everything that is up, they are seeing is down. So I can say ni shetani ndio imefunga macho za hii government. Na okay, You cannot say something that people are seeing. You are lying in front of people that the government is working. Youth doesn't have jobs. That one is 100%. You can concur with me. Zile vitu ambazo zilikuwa zinasaidia wamama, wakonge na wazee, siku hizi hata stori zao
Youth don't have job. That is true. Youth don't have job, but the government promised to create 1 million jobs every year. The government gave some promises to Mama Mboga. And earlier on, I played a video when URP was formed in 2013, when actually this Mama Mboga were called Watu wa Kuuza Mboga. They just changed the name, and the hustlers were still there. So the same people, same scripts, same audience, and we are consuming it. We are comfortable with it. I think you're the ones who are entertaining them.
Yeah. Because there is nothing, you know, when you are suffering somewhere or someone is giving you hard time, then the same person that you are making you to suffer or you are giving you a hard time, akikuja kwako unasema yeye tosha, unapiga kelele, unampigia makofi. Who is a fool, between the person who is clapping or the person who is talking? You know, I do ask myself a lot of questions when Ruto is talking, when Gachagua is talking, when the CS are talking. I think there is something wrong. So I cannot support that the Kenya Power should be a private, because once it's become the private, then it's finished. Kila kitu itafanywa vile wanataka. Wakitaka kuzima stima maybe 1 month wanaweza fanya, kwa sababu sasa ni yao. Then there is something that people doesn't understand. I said it in Mutembei one day. I said it like this. Even those who are saying that they are helping us to push the government, these people also, they are joking with us. Why am I saying this? These people can do anything because they already understand the situation that we have now. They are in that situation. No one is Azimio, no one is Uda, no one is Wajakoya, whatever. We are in. But we are still joking with it by saying tunataka wale waseme ya kwamba Raila ndiyo atoke afanye nini? Aseme. But the same time, the person that atoke aseme, yeye pia iko kwa hii the problem that people are facing. Because you will not say that Raila has a lot of money, so he can do anything he wants. He's also a Kenyan, like me, like you. Whether he has trillions of money, it will reach a point whereby the one of his family or the relative is suffering somewhere. So this issue, the people should take it seriously and see this is what we want to do and do it one and for all. But if we are waiting, they are saying now to give them 10 years is when they can stable the economy, because Kenya is sick, is now in ilitoka kwa CU sahi iko kwa ward, which means they are waiting for Kenya to die. So I cannot support that. On my side, let the Kenya Power remain the Kenya Power, but we can see how we go about it so that we can help something that is already built, not we sell to someone that will ruin it forever.
That's really good. And to our viewers, karibuni sana. Once again, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to Afriq Live Talk. This is a show that comes to you every day from 10 p.m. East African time. And what do we do here? We are just discussing matters of Kenyan politics. We are not only discussing politics, maybe we're not here to blame the government or to blame the citizens, but we are here to try and answer some of the questions and try to come up with the best ways in which we can be able to put the government accountable so that our lives can be better. Of course, some of the days we are also bringing for you experts to give you advice on matters affecting us within the society. Like this Sunday, I promised you that we are going to have the Unlocking the Land Dilemma Part 2, but I'm sorry to tell you that it will not be so possible on Sunday, but I'll guide you as soon as possible to tell you when we'll be able to host Engineer Mora on our channel again. But always keep it here for the political updates, business updates, and news updates. And of course, each and every morning from 8 a.m. we normally have a Afriq newspaper review, whereby we are able to review and update you on what is happening on our daily newspapers. So we'll always be able to connect you. And that is why we say at Afriq, we are connecting Africa. So don't miss tomorrow's newspaper review. There's a lot that we normally have to bring to you. We not only show you what is in newspapers, but we also try to weigh out and have experts will always give their opinion and welcome your opinion based on what has been written or what is making news on the newspapers. Keep it here. As we come from the break, we are still going to see the effect of incompetency, how incompetency is affecting and costing Kenyans, and what can we do as Kenyans so that in future we don't have people who are incompetent entrusted with public offices.
Suspended Energy and Petroleum Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir's hopes of making a return to the cabinet have been boosted after the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission (EACC) cleared him of allegations of abuse of office and seeking to corruptly influence the award of a tender. The anti-graft body forwarded Chirchir's files to Director of Public Prosecutions Keriako Tobiko and recommended its closure for lack of evidence. Chirchir was in the list of shame submitted to Parliament by President Uhuru Kenyatta in the much-hyped purge on corruption. He was accused of embezzling 90 million shillings transferred from the Kenya Pipeline to Kenya Power to influence the award of a tender. But even as he walks out of the EACC's dragnet, Chirchir has to wait for the DPP's verdict before he can celebrate. Chirchir is also facing investigations over the Chicken Gate scandal that allegedly involved receiving kickbacks to influence the award of a tender to print ballot papers to a British company, Smith & Usman, during his tenure as a commissioner with the Interim Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IEC). The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is still probing the scandal known as the Chicken Gate scam, since the kickbacks allegedly demanded by some IEC officials were codenamed Chicken.
Usikunwe tena soda waziri, ndio hiyo tu.
But as Chirchir awaits Tobiko's verdict and pushes for his clearance, questions remain on the fate of suspended Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Felix Koskei. Though he was cleared by EACC and the DPP, he remains in the cold amid often talk of an impending cabinet reshuffle. Labour Cabinet Secretary Kazungu Kambi remains on suspension despite being cleared of some corruption allegations. He is still under investigations over claims of abuse of office. His cabinet colleagues Charity Ngilu and Michael Kamau are facing charges at the Anti-Corruption Court. Francis Gashuris.
All started with the payout of millions of shillings in what the courts in the United Kingdom described as bribes to Kenyan election officials by a British company. The illicit deals were carried out under the code name Chicken, essentially to award lucrative printing contracts. The Kenyan public would be made privy to Smith & Usman after a London court interrogated the entanglement between the British company and the defunct Interim Independent Electoral Commission.
Now, tonight on the National Reminder, we revisit the intrigues of Chicken Gate and bring you the latest on investigations that sought to bring the culprits to book. Here's our very own Victoria Robadiri.
Over the course of 2 years, senior managers and commissioners in the now defunct Interim Independent Electoral Commission, or IIEC, were beneficiaries of kickbacks from Smith & Usman, a UK-based company specializing in printing security documents. The bribes amounted to about 50 million shillings, and this was done by inflating most of the printing contracts by up to 38%. The underhand cash deals even had a code name in the emails exchanged between the printer and the election officials. Chicken was the word that would facilitate Smith and Osmond's winning 7 tenders to supply election materials such as ballot papers, voter registration forms, voter ID cards, and nomination forms. All these revelations came out in a 4-year-long forensic investigation carried out by the UK's Serious Fraud Office that investigates and prosecutes serious and complex fraud cases, including bribery and corruption. A list naming senior government officials in the corruption racket was also released. Former Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir suspended IIEC Chief Executive Officer James Oswago, Uasin Gishu Woman Representative Gladys Boss, who was the then Deputy CEO, and lawyer Kennedy Nyaundi, then a commissioner, as well as Kenneth Karani, who was a senior procurement officer, and former NEC boss Paul Wasanga were all named. A 2014 case prosecuting senior managers at Smith and Osmond revealed that the printer provided election materials for the 2010 Constitution referendum, 4 parliamentary by-elections held in Shinyalu, Bomachoge, South Mugirango, and Matuga, as well as a host of civic polls. The senior managers at Smith and Osmond implicated in the case included Christopher Smith, the former chairman, his son Nicholas Smith, who handled sales and marketing, Tim Forrester, who served as the international sales manager, and Trevi James Oyombra, the Kenyan agent. The funds were mostly transferred to Mr. Oyombra's accounts held at KCB and then distributed to the beneficiaries. Well, this evidence was enough to see Nicholas Smith serve 3 years in jail, while his father Christopher got a 1.5-year suspended term with a 250-hour community service. Well, this was in February 2015. A year later, in March 2016, Kenya recovered 52 million shillings from the Chicken Gate scandal. A former Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Chief Executive Officer Halake Wako, who appeared before the National Assembly Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, said this was part of the proceedings to repatriate assets of the London-based security printer. The money, Wako said, would be used to purchase ambulances for Kenyan hospitals.
Today, I am indeed glad to be presiding over this ceremony, the handover of 7 ambulances purchased with monies repatriated, as we have been told, from the successful prosecution of the Smith and Usman case in the United Kingdom.
In 2017, some movement on the case in Kenya when former IIEC Chief Executive James Oswago and Smith and Osmond agent Trevi Oyombra were arrested over the Chicken Gate scandal. Oswago was later charged alongside former official Hamida Kibwana and Trevi Oyombra. They faced charges in relation to the millions paid as a bribe to the IIEC officials. Oswago also faced an alternative charge of failing to comply with procurement laws and another charge of receiving 2 million shillings from Hamida Ali Kibwana as an inducement to have the IIEC award a printing contract. The case was to be mentioned in April of 2018. And meanwhile, in February 2019, Smith and Osmond's Nicholas Smith walked out of prison after completing a 3-year sentence, turning the spotlight on Kenyan authorities and the pace of the trial. By October 2021, there were no prosecutions to speak of on the Kenyan side. In fact, the anti-corruption court adjourned the trial of Oswago and his co-accused as a result of the death of his daughter. The case continues, however, with no sign of when it will be concluded. That's your national reminder of the week, lest you forget.
Yes, having watched that video, Captain and Melchizedek, is this one trying to explain why we have incompetent leaders? Because the people who've been mentioned in that kind of scandal, look at the way the thing has been dealt with in the UK. The other guys have really been jailed and they've had to pay for their mistake. But back in the country, the people who are involved have been rewarded. And remember, Davis Chirchir was involved there. He was the commissioner of the Interim Independent Electoral Commission, the double IEC. This is a man who later came to be the chief of, after that he was appointed to be the cabinet secretary of energy and petroleum. Another scandal came. Uhuru Kenyatta kicked him out. After that, he was made the chief of staff to the current president, William Ruto. And in 2022 general election, he was also accused by the Azimio candidates, that is Raila Amolo Odinga and Martha Karua, as to be somebody who was involved in the malpractices at the IEBC, specifically interfering with the tallying of the results, whereby he was accused of creating a parallel tallying center, whereby the information from the Kim's kit were transmitted there before they get transmitted to the official IEBC site. Some of the allegations that he denied. Now, the same person have been taken back to the ministry where he was kicked out. So does it mean that this guy is so special, untouchable, he's a kingmaker, or he's so powerful that even as Kenyans are calling for his ouster, nothing is being happened? Are Kenyans having hope? Do you think William Ruto can be able to maybe sack such kind of a person? Remember the journey that they started with William Ruto from the formation of URP until before that, after formation of URP, they ended up in the 2013 elections, of which it is believed that he was also involved with his IT expertise and his knowledge and how he knew how things work at the Independent Electoral Commission. He worked there together with Gladys Boss-Sholei. So they are the same people. When you talk of IEBC or IEC, you'll find their names there. And when you come to government, is it that we are suffering because the president decided to award his political Mr. and Mrs. Right? Is it?
Naweza sema hivi, kikwangu mimi vile naiona, they do say the same bird with the same feather always flocks together, and this is what I'm seeing in the government, because the government we have right now, from top to bottom, they have the history of scandal and wheezy, especially the so-called president and vice president. President alipelekwa mpaka egg na akarudi. Vice president himself alikuwa na scandal ya pesa mingi sana wakati yenye alikuwa
na akarudishiwa. The first thing that they did, they had to return back, yet they claim that walipata kama hakuna kitu kwa account ya serikali, lakini kwa the same account ya serikali bado kulipatikana 200 million ambayo serikali ilichukua kwake kwa sababu ni pesa ilikuwa imeibwa, ni pesa ilikuwa imepatikana kwa njia ya ulaghai, lakini bado hiyo pesa ilikuwa akarudishiwa.
Yeah, so it's not something new. So those who are still dreaming that there is something will change to this government, I said no. There is a day here I say something. Watu walinivuruga, waliniambia wewe hautaki mema, but it happened once, because I told them that when you sit down waiting for these people, for the dialogue or whatever talks, there is nothing will come out of it. But people say something has to come, that we can talk and something can come out of that talk. Right now as we speak, things zinazama slowly. Hakuna kitu yenye ilisemwa kwamba we will do this na wakaweka sign inafanyika. Tayari washapata zao. Wewe leo bado umebaki tu the same person ulikuwa from tangu uzaliwe mpaka leo. Aba leo uko na kakasi kadogo tu ile ya kushikilia. But the position you are thinking that this government or the other government or the other government will put you to a better position. It's a high time we Kenyans or we wananchi, we think very deep Nilikuwa nasikia watu wa Jacaranda and I said by myself, na niliongea tu pole pole, how I wish these people wako na macho ya kuona, wako na sikio la kusikia, na wako na mind ya kufikiria. Kwa sababu gani? Kuna wale ambao walitoka saini, sijui anaitwa Boyspana wa nani, sijui Sakaja Boyspana, whatever, whichever. I don't want to mention some people's name that make me to irritate it. These 3 people, these 4, 5 people, wanafikiria ya kwamba hata wakisifu Ruto watapea kitu kidogo ili waendelee na maisha mazuri. Leo sikia mtu ambaye anaendesha pikipiki, nilisema ya kwamba huyu jamaa hata shule hakukanyaga, kwa sababu wale ambao wameenda shuleni wamesoma kidogo, at least akili yao iko na something, hata kama ni empty database, lakini kuna kadogo tu unaweza piga na usikie. But hao watu hawana hata kidogo. Kwa sababu gani? Huwezi sema ya kwamba these people are trying to make the economy good and you are the first person suffering. Mafuta ambayo ulikuwa unanunua 150, sasa unanunua 217 ama sasa 250, alafu wewe pia umesimama mbele ya watu unasema ya kwamba the economy is good. So it's something that we people, wale ambao wanasikia ama wale ambao wasikii, kuna kitu ambayo tunafaa tufanye ili tutoke kwa hii shida ambayo tunayo. Huyu jamaa amenyamaza sana hapo kwa simu.
I get you. Captain, unatusikiza?
Niko na nini tena vizuri sana.
Karibu. Sasa ni swali nilikuwa nimeuliza, uliniambia nimesema Chirchir ako powerful negatively. So the question I'm asking you, do you think William Ruto can just be bold enough na seme, hey, Chirchir hapa umeshindwa kazi, wacha ukae kando? We saw Uhuru Kenyatta doing it. He came up with something akaita the list of shame. So from that, now it was upon the parliament to push wapige kelele. Do you think William Ruto will do that based on the close relationship, based on the journey that they've had with the Chirchir? And most people outside there believe that Chirchir contributed to his presidency. Why do they believe so? Yeah.
Nyabaya and Odhiambo, it is still early for William Ruto to realize his mistakes. It is still early. It's now 1 year. Maybe now we are heading we are starting for the second year and that year maybe ikifika nusu ya katikati ya term yake ndio atajua makosa zake. Kuna mahali inasemekana hata kwa Mungu kila mtu atabeba mzigo wake. Utabebea mtu mzigo, ubebe mpaka hiyo mzigo sasa umeona hii hapana, hii imenizidi. Wacha sasa kila mtu abebe mzigo wake peke yake. But for now William Ruto is still bearing mzigo ya watu wake, hajaanza kuona negative part of it. Kwa mfano, leo pale Baringo walikuwa nauza kondoo nini hizo, kimalelio whatever ya kununua mbuzi. Ulisikia Rigiji akisema nini? Huyu Murkomen alinunua hiyo generator ama ilinunuliwa na hiyo serikali nyingine? Until when we will stop blaming the previous government? Because even the previous government was blaming the previous government before hiyo Akibaki. Msije mka fail kwa serikali yenu muwekelee wale wengine makosa. Wewe ndio umekalia kiti, tumekupatia kura ama uliiba kura, we don't know, I don't know that. Fanya ile kitu wananchi wanataka. Usianze kufail then you tell us that somebody somewhere is trying to fix the problems of the previous government. You didn't tell us that in your manifesto. You tell us that you'll work for this and that. You did not tell us in your manifesto that the first thing we will be fixing the problems of the previous government. We don't know about that. Hiyo ni mambo yako na vile utaran serikali yako.
Actually, but they knew the previous government was having problems And that is why they wanted to replace the previous government. So you are right, wangetuambia hii serikali iko na hii shida. So tukichukua uongozi, kitu ya kwanza tutarekebisha hii shida yenye tumeona ndio tuanze yetu. But they didn't say that. So if they were sincere and they were campaigning against this government and they want to tell us that they were not part of the government, then they would have known that why do we want to be the next alternative government? Because these people have failed in 1, 2, 3. So when we pick it, we will solve their problem first, then we start ours. So proceed. I think you're right.
Yes, that is what I'm telling you. You did not tell us during your campaigns that when we come in, we'll fix the problem of the previous government, and then we continue from there. But now you are sitting in the government with all your two buttocks there, but now you are telling us that, oh, the previous government ilikuwa na shida gani hivi, unajaribu kufix. Until when? 10 years itaisha, fix the previous government problems. And then the next government will come again, 10 years itaenda, ikifix problems ya UDA. Where are we heading to? Until when this mwananchi wa kawaida, wa bodaboda, na wa mama mboga, atapata services, atangoja mpaka lini? You see? Baba alituambia 6,000. I don't know kama ingekuwa, but for me, I give a reservation for that, kwa sababu ni kama hiyo 6,000 ingekuwa, I give a benefit of doubt. Wacha tu niseme ingekuwa hiyo 6,000. Saa hii ni Christmas. Hata hiyo 6,000 ingekuwa imesaa ingine, kwa sababu Hustler Fund imesaa kitu. Nasikia imesaa kitu kidogo. Hata hiyo 6,000 ya Hustler ya baba ingesaa ikue 12. Na sikukuu ingekuwa sawa sawa. You see? You know, we are not in a campaigning period now. We are fixing the problems of the government that we are in now. Odhiambo, you are not in government. Even me, I'm in government, but we are not in campaign. We are trying to fix the problems we are facing as Kenyans.
Okay, Captain.
Captain amesema he is in government. But he is in government trying to fix the problem. Wacha tukaribishe hata na Pen Nyagaka, karibu sana, tumekuona.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
What I've realized, even if I'm in the government or I'm in the opposition,
yes,
there is something that I realize, and it's the truth about what we are seeing now. Once Captain has become the leader, or Leo has become the leader, he forget everything that he said before. Because he already understands that I've already got what I wanted. And no one can take it away from me unless there is something else.
Because he knows that Kenyans are good in forgetting things.
Very good. So,
actually,
when we are
Melchizedek,
yes.
you just allow me a minute. That thing, we've said it here. These people are lying. They know we won't hold them accountable because of number one, they know Kenyans are good in forgetting. Before you came, I played a video here. I'll just play it for 2 minutes. And you tell me, if maybe you are watching it for the first time, you tell me if somebody asks you, when was this video recorded? If you will not tell me it was recorded in 2022 or 2021, then you'll get surprised that it is not that. The video is still fresh. The same words with same people. Just listen to this and tell me.
The United Republican Party, URP, formally joined the country's political fray ahead of the forthcoming general election. The party's delegates drawn from all the 47 counties gathered at the Bomas of Kenya, Nairobi, to witness the launch. The party's symbol is a horn, and its colors are yellow, black, and red, with white stripes, and was formed after Eldoret North MP William Ruto led his troops in a walkout from UDM after protracted leadership wrangles.
Chama cha United Republican Party ni chama ya wazee, kina mama, vijana. Chama cha warefu na wafupi. Chama cha wafugaji, wakulima, wafanyabiashara wauza mboga na mahasla.
Tunachopigania sisi hapa, sisi watu wa URP, ni kuleta maendeleo tuliyosema, na kuleta maendeleo si mtu mmoja atoe rais, bali ni urais. Urais.
The party in its manifesto stated that it was anchored on 5 key principles, the top principle being strong family values.
The smallest block kwa kujenga nchi yetu ya Kenya ni jamii.
We are going to be the leaders who are going to give promises to our people, promises that will be achieved.
I'll stop there. Promises that will be achieved. Hustlers, wauza mboga. So, when we had this thing called hustler movement, when we had somebody talking about Mama Mboga, I know somebody thought that it was a new term, something that maybe it was afterthought. They say, oh, finally, we have William Ruto who think of hustlers. That was 2013. 10 years later, somebody came up with the same phrase, same words, and the same person, but people thought it was new. That, oh, for the first time, kumbe, you want to tell me 2013, and they took government in 2013 to 2022. Hii maneno ya hustler alikuwa amesahau na maneno ya Mama Mboga alikuwa ameisahau. So we forget easily. Melkiza, they continue. Unmute. Oh, good.
Sorry. Captain, there is a day we fight somewhere. When you remember me in Metembe, when I was telling the people, you are telling people that let Ruto work, and I told you that can you count for me some 3 things that Ruto has done after 1 year? Then I think you ran away. Anyway, that one was the past. Now we are in the government, neither we are in the position, but we don't care. We're still waiting for another scandal to come. We are celebrating corruption. And that's what we are in Kenya. Everything that is taking place, even you yourself, even me myself, we are corrupt. You have to know that. Because no one is safe. Once you are not corrupt, then you can stop what is taking place. But when you are among the corrupt people, you will never do something because you understand that hata wewe utashikwa kwa wale ambayo waizi wanashikwa. So it's something that we need, just we Kenyan or wananchi tufikirie kwamba what we are entertaining, it's not the right thing that we are supposed to do for us to make Kenya to be good. I'm working in a country whereby we are being led by Sheikh. And it's a very small country, but it's developed than Kenya, maybe 100 times. Why am I saying this? Because if you see how these people, they build their roads, how these people, they bring the investors, how you see these people are building their hotels and everything, you will say these people, they know the value of the country where they're living. But us, you will find that someone is saying that now I want to sell KICC for us to get investors. You should ask yourself about this. If other people are trying to build their country to be good, to look good, to make things work for them so that their future children and their children to enjoy what they have already built, we African or we Kenyans, we are struggle to sell what we are already on the ground. Where are we heading to? That should the question we should ask ourselves. Another thing that I'm realized now, that we like things that we are eating today and we don't think tomorrow. We are only eating today because Captain amekuja ya kwamba amesema I'm the MP of blah 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 area. nimewapea kila mtu 100, mumeshakula leo na kesho mtakula nini? We should look for long-term goals in our life. That's why you see that most of the people are running away from their country to become the slaves from other peoples that already make their own. If 100%, I'm talking here, you will find that those, if you come out of Africa, you go to Europe, you go to Asia, you go where? You are going there as a slave, whether you like it or not. Whether you are becoming the officer of whatever, but you are a slave there. You are being self in another way that you don't know. But if you are in your country, you are free. You can do anything you want. You can eat what you want, but you cannot do such kind of things where you are. So Kenya, we have a lot and we have everything. We can feed our people with what we have. But we are afraid of one thing. We don't want to use whatever we want to get what we want. And this is the thing that all people are facing. We have engineers, we have teachers, we have doctors, we have everybody there in Kenya. But where is it? People are still looking for other country to go and work. Kama ingekuwa ni mzuri, Kenya Power, kuna wale ambao wanafanya installation, kuna wale ambao wanafanya maintenance, kuna wale ambao wanafanya nini. Kama ilikuwa ni country ambayo inataka kusaidia watu, kwa nini tunaenda shule? You should ask yourself, why do you go to school? We use money to go to use, like you are using money to go and look for more money. But sometimes you are using a lot of money to go and look for less money. This is what is taking place. Mtu alisema hivi, kwa nini usitumie ile pesa yenye unaenda nayo college kuanzia biashara badala ya kuenda college usome biashara na pesa tayari ushapata? Unanipata? Tayari pesa ushapata, unapeana uende usome hiyo biashara ambayo unafaa ufanye. So we are looking for something that we already have, but how to use it is the problem. I want to give you a practical or a true story about where I'm working. You will find someone hakuenda hata shule, hajui kusoma, hajui kuandika, hapo tu na kitu inaitwa experience, na anafanya kazi kukushinda wewe ambaye umeenda mpaka uko na degree kama 10. Unaona? But ukiwekwa naye kwa kazi anakuchapa. So why are we going to school, Kenyans? Because I can say that we don't know what we are doing. But wale ambayo wanajua vizuri kitu ya kukula ni kazi, utapata ya kwamba amekuja hapa, amepata experience vizuri, amefanya maybe 5 to 3 years, amerudi kwao. Hakuna hata boutique, hakuna nini. Na wewe ulianza na yeye, bado utafanya na yeye 10 years, ati unasema kurudi shule ili upate hiyo pesa. We are wasting time, we are wasting money, we are wasting revenue, everything. But we come up saying that we blame the government. We are the government. Because the people that we are seeing there, hata wewe unaweza kuwa president. Hakuna mtu yenye amesema huwezi kuwa president. Hakuna mtu amesema huwezi kuwa the king. Hakuna mtu amesema huwezi kuwa the MP, whatever. But the mentality that we have right now has spoiled everything. And that's why we are believing the government and we are the people who put them on that power. We should think about this one. Captain, you can go ahead as we continue with this.
Okay, Nyabaya, I don't know if you are realizing something of a very big sense. because when we are talking with Melchizedek Odhiambo and you here, Leo Nyabaya, as our host here, are you seeing my microphone is on and was on mute? It's just no one has muted it.
Yeah.
We are discussing things as gentlemen that they understand what they are talking about. Remember when we were in Mutembei TV, until even the host can come in to mute your mic, the other one to talk. You see, because now we are reasonable people. We are sailing on the same boat. We are discussing what is important to our people. You see,
Actually, that is true.
we don't have to
That
come
is
here to
true.
fight. We are not in a campaign mood. You see, we want
Mwingine
to have a
ameanza
country.
kuchokoza hapo.
Yes.
Shubin anakuchokoza hapo, anasema
Wachana
ile demu
Shubin
inakaa
is even
kama
is better. The other day you have left. You left the studio the other day that there is somebody by the name Kip. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know. Maybe because he's from my home place. He talk all the nonsense, but I don't care. No problem.
I just have a
We are here.
question, Keep,
Oh, Captain,
on
no,
this. Captain, no, keep Captain. Okay, I just have a question. In
Yes, sir.
Swali
Yes,
lazima
sir.
niulize. I've
Yes, sir.
heard the question people have talked, and the question that I'm asking,
Yes.
I also saw it somewhere in a newspaper. Do
Yeah.
you think Raila is going to run for 2027? And maybe if he's going to run, what is your take on that? Should he run for 2027? That's the question that people are now asking. Or is it too early? Just the same way umetuambia it is too early for Ruto to realize his mistakes. So do you think Raila should be on the ballot 2027 or yeye sasa achane tu nayo, Wakenya tupambane, tutafute ndume wengine na maisha iendelee?
You know, Nyabaya, you are talking of a brand. You are talking of a brand, not a person. That is a brand.
A brand.
The whole world knows that is a brand. Not just like you can also whether or what. Bro, I cannot dispute that person. If you'll run. And even for me,
Will
I
it
haven't.
not be too much? Like Sasa is going to run for the 6th time. Eh?
Yes, no problem. Even Tinubu, I don't know Tinubu then for what was the term for Tinubu? Or which time was that? Tinubu is voted now for president for Nigeria.
Let me check.
Hello,
I'll check for
is it
you.
network problem or what?
Can I say something about that?
Okay.
Can I say something about that?
Okay.
And I know people will fight me, but let me just be frank. Those who are, this one is a brand, it's a company, and it's something that if you touch, people can kill you. But I used to stand. I used to call myself one-man squad. If you understand the meaning of one-man squad, it's someone who stands alone. If you are someone that sees the future, this guy has tried his best and he has shown that he's a good leader. But a leader is someone that accepts what is called how we call it. If you're a leader, you have to accept that I'm defeated. But this guy will never accept that he's defeated. He will continue to show and do this. On my side, nilisema ya kwamba for us to move on in Kenya, we should avoid this old politician. The reason is, if someone is MP 20 years, he cannot correct the mistake that started when he sat on that seat. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me.
I'll correct you.
Leo, wacha nikwambie.
Yes.
When you are a head teacher or when you are a principal in one school in 20 years, that school will remain the way it is until the day you will leave. because you see everything is okay in that where you are. Even if someone want to tell you, oh, my friend, we need to change this door. This door is okay. Because you know that you already understand what is inside there. But when you bring another head teacher or the principal, you will see the mistake that that door has. So that's why I'm saying that we should avoid this old politician because they already teach other people. So these people that are coming new can take over so that they can change what is taking place in that area. Captain, you wanted to say something?
That is Melchizedek's opinion. He feels that Raila should not run because he's been there the longest, and now he should give opportunity to somebody to bring out new ideas. So, Captain, what is your take on that? You've said Raila is a brand, and that is a brand that...
don't blame the old man, bro. Don't play with the old man. That's what I can say. Don't play with the old man. What I can only say is that the old man himself will tell us what next. But for me, what I was trying to say is that he can just frame somebody and say from his politics and the way he has been looking things, the way they are going, he's choosing someone that he can drive his political opinion the way he wants Kenya to be. Raila's opinion for Kenyans is good. It's not a bad one. That is why even where we are right now, even this way, our government now for UDA, why not for Raila, hata hiyo unga mnalalamika sijui 260, why not for Raila hata hiyo unga ingefika 500. Unaona? Angezima juzi na hiyo maandamano sijui hiyo supermarket gani sijui nini, angenyamaza tu hivi, ingepanda ikipanda. But for now you see at least it's dropping down. You see? Raila sio mtu ati atakaa tu akae tu pale. No. In fact, even all the politicians in Kenya, I can say they have come from Raila Odinga. That is Moi, Raila Odinga, hivyo. Hakuna mtu anasema Kenya sahii anajua siasa na hajapitia Raila Odinga. Don't see. Who is that? Nani huyo anaweza ongea hivi? Sijui, sioni. Raila is the person. He is the one to tell us, and that is why even I can say, you see now Raila, during this thing of bipartisan talk in Bomas, amenyamaza kidogo. Hatujui nini inaendelea. Hatujui what will come next. You see. That is why sometimes you see Mother Karua anaambiwa, sio sisi tunaenda kwa barabara. Wewe hata leta watu wako tuende. Unaona Raila ametulia, kuna message ana deliver. And there must be a good message there. Relax, serikali ifanye kazi yake. Ndio maybe by 2027 kama itaanguka sana na election tuende tu straightforward vile inafaa iende, Raila anaweza kuwa kwa kiti 2027 kama
That's so interesting. That's so interesting, guys.
Very interesting.
I think as we are winding it up, we are only having 3 minutes left. Actually, we are past 11 minutes past midnight. I just want us to make our final, our final remarks or our final submission as we wind it up. And to our viewers, don't fail to catch up with us tomorrow in the morning from 8 a.m. that is East African time, when we are going to be having the newspaper review. So ensure that you catch up with us so that you get updated, connected in the morning. So Melchizedek, wacha nianze na wewe, maneno yako ya mwisho. Actually, we've really seen today, we just wanted to see how the country is suffering because of incompetence. And of course, we've seen how incompetent CS Davis Chirchir is. And despite the fact that he's incompetent, the president has not done anything. He's not been interdicted. They've not even summoned him. They've not even held him accountable ili atuambie shida iko wapi, Umejua, in that case angekuwa ameshaambiwa bwana, kazi umeshindwa, weka kando kama uwezi ukaendelea na kazi. Not once, not twice, and it has now become a routine, na watu wameshazoea na hafanyiwi kitu. So what is your final remarks as far as hii mambo ya stima na incompetent CS is concerned?
Okay, my final remark, I can say that let us not wait for other people or someone to tell us what to do. Because once you are grown up and you understand what is taking place around you, you should take action so that in future, even if you have the family, you show them the right path to follow. In terms of, when I'm talking about this guy called Chirchir, the position that he has or the position that he is in is not fitted. Ana hiyo experience ya kutosha, so is there to eat money with his boss because they are really close, so they cannot do anything unless something has to be done. So need to united. Let us not be like kuna Wajaluo, kuna Kikuyu, kuna nini. Let us be united and do one thing together so that when these people are seeing that we are serious about what is taking place, they will change their mind. But if sisi pia tumeregea, tutapata ya kwamba vile captain amesema, kama Raila angesimama sahi unga ingekuwa hata 600 ama 500. The same thing will happen to this maneno ya KPLC. Utapata ya kwamba token sasa badala ya kununua token ya 100 utanunua token ya 600 ama ya 500. So tujiadhari na tujue ya kwamba you have the power as a wananchi. You can remove and you can put. That's the only thing that I can say as per now.
Thank you. I can see somebody is joining. Somebody is joining. Karibu sana Mzalendo. Umekuja umechelewa. We've really had some interesting discussion here, but it's still okay. Now that you are here, we won't lock you out. We'll also give you an opportunity to weigh in. Being a Kenya Mzalendo, I think Mzalendo mean patriotism or patriotic, if I'm not wrong, you'll correct me. So being a patriotic Kenya, you must also have something that you can say about the country. We were really looking at how the country is falling, and it is tied to incompetence, something that can be avoided. And we've looked at how intentionally we can say that this incompetence is just intentional, because we are having the same players and the same mistakes that were interdicted before, and the same people are given the same responsibility. Then we expect different results. So if that is not insanity, then I don't know what Kenyans should maybe say about it. So karibu sana, Afriq Live Talk. This is the place where we are able to discuss what is taking place in the political environment. We are also able to discuss matters of economy, social life, and in general, we are connecting Africans from wherever they are through this channel of ours, Afriq TV. So karibu sana, and you can give us maybe your remarks or your thought on the incompetency and leadership, or how it affects the service delivery within a country.
Thank you. Leo, can you hear me? I think I'm frozen on the screen.
No, I can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you for inviting me once again, Captain Barigani and Odhiambo. Let me just stick to Odhiambo. That word is.
But that's a powerful name that you can't tell me. You can be able to spell Mississippi's and all those kind of names, and you fail to spell Melchizedek.
It's a name
Then
derived
you need to
in the
consult
Bible.
your Sunday school teacher.
Let us stick to the African. I don't want to miss on some of the letters. There are too many. So, Odhiambo, thanks so much. Nice to see you once again. It's been a while since you participated in the debate. Leo, Ruto's government, apart from just like any other government, it has got its own teething problems, and the teething problems is caused by his selection of CS cabinet secretaries. These ministers are really letting him down, and the PSs. So
Karibu sana bwana chairman.
asante sana captain. So when you see Ruto failing, his government failing on delivery, or his government failing on some of the sectors like the energy sector, it is because of the people he selected to do that particular job. Energy is one of the major drivers of the economy, and Ruto ought to have thought it very, very wise. I think Chirchir has been there for a while now. He has not made any major impact in that sector. Not that he's not educated; he's well educated and well versed on in other areas. Perhaps the energy sector needed somebody who is more competent to run it. So Ruto rewarding his cronies and his loyal supporters is what is now eating him up. So he needs to think very, very fast, do a cabinet reshuffle, which I think is looming. A cabinet reshuffle is a must in the Kenyan government. This will be done ASAP, because his advisors will advise him, because on his popularity, he's failing on his popularity, he's failing on his pledges. We have seen the president articulate some of the issues that should have been articulated by his ministers. We have seen him complain in public that in some of these dockets he's much aware of what is happening than his minister for lands. So these are some of the issues that the president needs to tackle. If he realizes that he's got one of his selection that is not doing a good job, please let him or her go to a simpler docket that they can manage. Or all the same, if they are not doing a good job, get rid of them. Get rid of them. This will increase your popularity, Mr. President.
And maybe,
and again,
as you say that, Mr. Mzalendo, you're saying that he needs to get rid of them. So are you trying to say that the president is so weak or slow to act? We saw the former president getting rid of such kind of things and sorting it immediately. For example, we saw Anne Waiguru being allocated some lighter duties. When we had Amina Mohammed being charged with the Ministry of Education, and she could not articulate the government policies when they wanted to introduce the CBC. The next day, what happened? She was transferred to the Ministry of Sports, which was believed to be more lighter compared to the education docket. We saw the current CS that is in question, Chirchir, Kosgei, and Kazungu Kambi are being told to step aside. So can we conclude that the president is slow in action, or the president is listening but is not concerned?
I think the president is not just the president of the Republic of Kenya, he's the president of each and every one of us. So, and he has got advisors that advise him. So the presidency is surrounded by so many people who advise him. When you saw Kina Amina Ahmed being removed from their docket and being taken to sports, that is just transferring the cancer that was in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to sport. It is not a solution. It is not a solution to transfer incompetency. the whole idea is to have service delivery in all the sectors that is run by the government. Perhaps what we needed to have seen most is that people in the private sector coming in to run government. So we need to see a lot of people who have been successful in the private sector. People like Martin Oduor, the KCB, the former KCB boss. We need to see those people coming to run the country effectively. There are people out there who are professional. They are not political. So Chirchir is very, very political. He cannot run. Yes, but Captain, I can see before your hand is chopped off.
Okay, TV through. I know your name anyway. No problem. You are
just call
saying the
me
person.
Mzalendo.
I know. Let me not say.
Mhm.
You are saying the president is advised correctly, but for me, I think I cannot agree with you, because who is this advising the president that when there is a total plug out in the whole country, is a good advice to president? Yeah? Is that really? And when there is
Can
a
I?
total blackout and the
Can
president doesn't want
yes?
to sack the minister in charge of energy, is that a good advice? Surely,
I think
where are you taking Kenyans?
I think this is not. Go back to your history and reflect effectively. This is not the first time Kenya has had a total blackout throughout the country. Kibaki had it, Uhuru had it, and nobody was sacked. So it is not that sacking is always a solution. Sacking is not a solution.
It's okay, Mzalendo. It's okay. I understand what you want to mean. Let me ask you, Mzalendo. You are married now. You marry a woman with a baby. Will that woman come to your house with the same behavior from the other previous house where you was married before? You have to streamline that woman to be straightforward to your marriage and the rules of your house. So William
You,
Ruto should be straightforward and be straightforward to govern the country the way we want or the way he wants, not coming to
uh,
tell us that this and that because of the previous government that they have been blackout before.
you,
What do you mean, Salendo, when you say that?
Captain, you've got very funny analysis. That
It's not funny. It's not
when you
funny.
marry, for
I'm trying to
example,
give you an
you just
example. I'm trying to give you an example.
yes. An example you gave is that when you marry a woman, you streamline her to follow your rules. You
Yes.
streamline her. Like she came dented with a lot of dents, so unampiga msasa ama panel beating ndio
Exactly.
anyoroke.
Exactly.
In the first place, before you bring her, you have to do some due diligence and see that Anna is and she doesn't need to be streamlined. She's a wife material. She's coming in and fitting in your family and moving on forward. She doesn't need to be streamlined. Suppose you are the problem. Suppose you are the problem. Then it brings a totally different concept of the whole thing. You might be the problem. That's why you are getting another woman. So uliwachwa kwa sababu uko na shida, so
Okay.
ukileta mwingine
Just
bado
give
ni
me.
shida tu.
Abaya, give me from there. Give me Abaya. Give me. Abaya.
Okay.
You've been playing the previous mistakes of Chirchir, and Musalendo is taking us back there.
Actually,
Chirchir has been having a lot of problems. So
he
when you are
knows
telling us,
Chirchir have had problems
I have,
everywhere.
Captain, let me just correct you. I have said, Chirchir has been in government for the longest time and he has not performed.
yes,
It is high
and
time just listen, be a good listener. It is high time that the President of the Republic of Kenya removes him from that docket, because that docket is very, very important as an economy driver. The energy sector is the most important thing. it drives the economy. If we can't have somebody who is competent, if we had somebody who is competent, Kenya today would be thinking about alternative sources of energy, like nuclear energy. Yeah, we are still grounded with dams and geothermal things which are archaic and old-fashioned. Let us look at modern ways and effective ways of managing power. And listen, our power depends on rainfall. With this century, with the issue of climate change and all those kind of things, when it is not going to rain, then there'll be a lot of power rationing. Let us talk the right things. Let us address the right issues in the right manner. The government of Kenya is taking us back to the 60s. We are moving to the 21st century, where energy is driven by the wind, energy is driven by solar, energy is driven by nuclear. Yeah, so we need to think on those lines.
Okay, Mzalendo. So do you think now, because we are depending on natural things like wind power and so on, Chirchir can behave acrobatically the way he's behaving right now?
I have told you, and I keep on telling you. I'll tell you, and until you get it like a kindergarten kid, that Chirchir is not fit for the job.
That's where I want now. That's where I want.
Chirchir is not fit for the job. Yeah, Chirchir is not fit for the job. Let him get a different docket. Yeah, because he has failed. He has failed. It is not the time that he has been involved in graft. He's been mentioned in so many things. So personally, I think he should have stepped down, to let somebody else take over that particular docket. The president can look for him other duties. If he thinks that he needs him, he can put him in other sectors that probably don't need much of attention, like the energy sector.
Nabaya, continue
I
from
think
there.
that is now okay. So Zalendo, we were winding up our
show
okay. Because it is almost 30 minutes past midnight. But before we wind up, there's a question on that I just want to ask you some 3 questions. Question number 1: do you think that is based on this is a question that is now disturbing every Kenyan and every politician or every political analyst? Do you think Raila is going to run in 2027? Then question number 2, do you think he should run? And lastly, is there anybody who will fit in his feet? Shall he not run in 2027? Maybe if you can answer those 3 questions, then you can give us an opportunity to wind up our show.
The first one, can you repeat? Is Raila running in...
First one, is Raila running in 2027? Question 1. Question 2, should he run? Then question 3, if in any case he doesn't run, is there anybody who will match his energy in that elections? Remembering that William Ruto will obviously have to defend his seat unless otherwise.
First, let me just start with where we have a problem in our politics. Our problem is Kenya is still playing tribal politics. A lot of us are either affiliated politically by tribe, and that's the more reason why Raila gets his energy. That's the more reason why Kalonzo has energy. That's the more reason why Uhuru feels that he's still needed in the political circles, because some of these people are driven, have got loyalty in tribe, and the tribesmen are telling them, it's not time to go. So for a good dancer, each and every time I should know that it is the right time for me to leave the stage. We have had, I want to give you an analysis of football. We have had Cristiano Ronaldo coming into Manchester United, then later on moving to Real Madrid. Then today is playing for a team in Saudi Arabia. It gives you an analysis that this guy cannot perform the way he used to perform. politics is also like that. You have to reach a time where you have to pass the baton to the next generation. There is a next generation of politicians who are eagerly waiting for the wisdom of Raila Odinga to guide them through. There's another generation who are waiting to move this country forward. Should Raila run in 2027? My answer is, if it is my opinion, he has lost more than 5 times. That is not that's not a good gesture for him to attempt to run for the 6th consecutive time. For me, I think Raila has done his bit for the Republic of Kenya. He has achieved whatever he wanted to achieve, other than just the presidency. He has been a prime minister of the Republic of Kenya. He is a senior citizen that we will miss in the political arena. But again, it is high time that he lets other people take that particular space. So if he's going to run in 2027, I think it will be a walkover for William Ruto. If Raila runs for 2027, it will be a very, very big walkover for him. So he needs to really think that is running in 2027 will divide the country further into tribal politics, and again push people like Kalonzo into URP alliance. So is running in 2027 is very, very dangerous, very, very dangerous in the political arena, because some of these tribal leaders, like the Wiper leader, has been telling his community it is now our time for us to lead. We have been supporting all these communities for the longest time, so ni wakati wetu pia sisi tuchukue ushukani, and they cannot stay on the fence again and wait for another 10 years for Kalonzo to run. Kalonzo is also getting old. When Raila runs in 2027, how old will he be? He'll be around 82 years. But he's still young. He's still young. He looks young. He looks energetic. Biden is still running in office here. Age is just a number in Africa. And if you are going to look at African history, look at Museveni, Raila appetite. Politics, if you have been a politician like myself and everybody else, politics is like gambling. It is so addictive. You cannot get that away from him. It is in him. He wants it. He wants to be in that ballot paper. He loves it. He loves being on the dais. So there is something that you cannot take away from Raila Odinga. As much as you want to tell him to not to be on the stage, then there is his instincts are telling him that this is my time to take the mantle. So it is difficult. It's a very, very difficult situation for Raila, because his mind, his body is telling him, I need to be on that ballot. His people are also telling him, you are the only candidate. We cannot have anything other than Raila Odinga on the ballot. Leo Nyamane will not vote if he doesn't see Raila's image on that particular paper. So that is the danger that we are having. Our politics is surrounded by these tribal kings, and these tribal kings control a huge number of our population. So that is the danger.
Thank you. Captain, maybe you can give your response, then you give your closing remarks. It's okay. Proceed.
Okay, no problem. What I'm trying to hear from Mzalendo is that if Raila will come into 2027 politics, it will not be a good picture. But we can flash back what the leader of majority the other day was speaking, because he was so passionate that he can even run with Kalonzo Musyoka, if not Raila Odinga, to be on the ballot with William Ruto. I don't know if you people are aware of that. Kimani Ichung'wah himself
said that if Raila will not be running, then it means they will have an easy way. They don't even need to campaign. Actually, William Ruto, you sit aside. I run against Kalonzo. Then after winning this seat, I'll now resign and give it to you. That is what he meant. I don't
That's
know.
what now I'm going back to Muzalendo. What Muzalendo is meaning, what is he telling us now? It's like he's telling us we don't have to go to ballot or what? You see?
No, I'm not saying that you don't have to go to the ballot. What I'm saying is that if we can have a situation whereby Ruto becomes so unpopular like Moi in 2002, and then Raila says Kibaki Tosha. If you can have a Kibaki, if you can have a Tosha moment for Kalonzo, then that is it. That is it. But the situation, the way it is politically right now, is that I don't see Raila's handlers letting him say Kalonzo Tosha. And the reason why I am saying this is because most of the people who are either MPs or governors in Raila's political party depend on him to be on the ballot so that they can win these seats that they normally get. If you look at the Nyanza political scene, Nyanza political scene, we hardly get new players into the game because most of them are either are in ODM, and Raila only has to lift your hand up for you to become a member of parliament or a governor. So they depend on him. They depend on him so much to be on the ballot. If he's not on the ballot, then they will probably have a new kind of political life. So that is the biggest problem. That is the challenge that is having right now.
So what I mean, Muzalendo, is that the killer of William Ruto's political whatever is to be killed by Raila Odinga. If Raila Odinga will not be in the ballot, and then you give us Kalonzo Musyoka, then you are giving him a walk on the park. Nothing else. You can do that.
Captain, remember, this guy beat Raila Odinga and the government while he was outside.
Okay.
Remember that each and every time that
Mr.
Ruto,
Muzalendo, I just beg maybe not to disagree with you, but
Ruto was an outsider when he beat
I just want to inform you on that.
Raila.
I just want to inform you on that. I don't think it's expected of you to say that Ruto was an outsider. You know, that's something you know very well. Ruto wasn't an outsider.
I know what you want to imply, but Ruto was an outsider all the same. Raila was in
Ruto
government.
had everybody in all the departments of the government. Ruto wasn't an outsider. Look at the current government.
It doesn't matter. You knew all that, didn't you?
So you just need to say that Ruto played a victim and pretended that he was an outsider, yet in real sense he was the insider. So sometimes you just need to speak the truth. So maybe
now
he's
in the not the people in Azimio. Uhuru Kenyatta was the president, not as the people in Azimio. Uhuru Kenyatta was in the president of the Republic of Kenya. Don't bring in Azimio there. Uhuru Kenyatta was the president. Uhuru Kenyatta's candidate was Raila Odinga. Uhuru Kenyatta at the baton. Uhuru Kenyatta was in charge. Uhuru Kenyatta got briefings from NSAS on a daily basis, just like the opposition, just like his deputy. But did they do due diligence? No, they didn't. They slept on their job. Now, this is the man now that is in power right now, with all the facilities that Uhuru had. With all the facilities that Uhuru had now doubled up. Do you think that you can beat him, my friend?
But that is why Captain is asking you, you know the man you are talking of. Then do you think Kalonzo can beat him? That's the question, because you are telling us that Kalonzo should be given an opportunity.
Kalonzo can beat him if we create a euphoria, a euphoric support on Kalonzo, the way Kibaki got. But without euphoric support, he's out. He can't get it. He can't get it. Neither can Raila. If Raila can get the euphoric support that Kibaki got in 2002, Ruto will be out. But look at our politics. Our politics is driven by tribe. As much as you want to be logic, and you want to look at everything, people don't really care about the cost of living. I am telling you, Kenyans are interesting. We care about the cost of living, but majority, go to Sigoi where it comes from. Go to Eldoret where people are now buying fuel at that heavy price. They will tell you, I want you. You are a media house. Go there and interview people on the streets. They'll tell you, oh, serikali ni ngumu, lakini come 2027 Ruto bado tunampigia kura. It is not. It is.
Wacha nimkaribishe kabla tumkate nje mzalendo, na muona Secretary General. Manake when you are discussing parties, umejua SG pia kuna chama chake hapa na hatujui amejipanga aje ndani. Huyu anaitwa atakwambia pa chama chake, na uone ukichoka na UDA ama ODM, tuko na SG hapa. SG karibu.
Mzuri sana, habari, unanisikia?
Na kusikia kabisa. Iko captain anauliza huyu ni Sifuna ama huyu ni nani?
Unajua chama ni Kenya ni iko na chama mingi. We are in a multi-party democracy. Na kitu ambacho naweza ambia Wakenya wengi ambao is a trend in Kenya ni kwamba chama ambacho hata kinashinda, tuseme hata UDA ilishinda, because I'm one person who believes they only colored the basket. Ilipojaa vizuri hiyo ingine ikakuwa top up, wakatop up, Chebukati akapatiwa bilioni yake ndio wakaweza kushinda. But this is the question about the party. Since 1978, any party that takes you to power, in the next election, you have to either quote it, merge with another one with another name, so that at least you can challenge for power. And this is a free research, I can tell you. 2027, if you're going to get there, UDA will be dead. They have to rejuvenate the party, make it look better. Watoe mayelo zingine, waweke kitu fulani, waiweke iwe UDA asiri or something, for there to even challenge for 2027. And I'm telling you, because you know what happened in 1997. You know what happened when KANU now or transiting. It was NAK. NAK ikatoka, ilikuwa PNU, ilikuwa NAK. Unakumbuka?
TNA and URP wakachange wakamaji. But SG, just on that, do you think they keep on changing these parties? Kwa sababu saa hii watu wamechoka, tuseme watu wamechoka na UDA. Kuna ile isi kuja na UDA 2027, people are likely not to vote you because mtu atakuwa anasikia hiyo UDA na anaona amechoka nayo. Do you think this is the reason sasa slogan nyingine uone ni kama ni kitu kingine?
Is a natural it's natural in Kenyans. What I've come to understand them, they have a very weird queer behavior. They want new things, dynamic things. You know, UDA in 20, so let me tell you, the people who follow UDA, because I live amongst them, in before 2022, wakati sasa mwezi wa 8 mwezi wa 7, as we were coming to form new UDA, it was very popular, very new, and kila mtu alikuwa anafurahia, anasema UDA. But go today, saa hii ngoja nikuambie, hata hiyo slogan ya hustler, sijui bottom up, it will be not be able to sell that one unless, na ndio nasema unless something miraculously happened to UDA. Sijui ni nini, but I can assure you the constituency that I'm so sure will deviate from that, particularly the Kikuyus, will not vote for that chama. That one you can take it to the bank. And therefore, even Azimio, they have to come with something else on their part. Lazima iwe kitu ambayo ni unique, kwa sababu hata unajua ilikuwa code, ikakuwa NASA, ikakuwa Azimio. Sasa sijui 2027 itakuwa nini, but I can assure you Kenyans, lazima you brand your car, rebrand yourself for you to get. Lakini ukikuja sijui Tutatoa watu hapa chini tuwapeleke juu, hiyo story imeisha. Sikudanganyi like my brother, mi niko Mount Kenya. Mtu yote ni mkulima ya kahawa ambaye alikuwa ameambiwa kuhusu minimum sijui minimum what. Kuna kitu hadithi nyingine tulikuwa napewa na huyu deputy president. Minimum guarantee. Ati mimi kazi yangu itakuwa vitu tatu. Itakuwa maziwa, kahawa, macadamia, majani chai. You know hizo vitu ndizo zilikuwa zinamwambia atakuwa president. I can assure you any farmer of macadamia cannot vote UDA inside again, because they have messed up. Walikuja wakaita wale wazungu makatel, wakawafukuza. Sasa macadamia inanunuliwa 10 bob per kg. Mtu wa macadamia, unless he's a mad person, na I can tell you our people, they are not stupid. Mtu hawezi enda kupanga line apigia UDA kura na macadamia imeisha. Mtu wa kahawa hawezi pigia UDA kura na macadamia imeisha na kahawa imeisha. Mtu wa majani hawezi piga kura na majani imeisha. Mtu wa maziwa hawezi piga kura na majani na maziwa imeisha. Hata nguruwe sasa hivi inakuwa charged. Sasa hivi ukipeleka nguruwe huko mahali inaitangwa KFC, inaitangwa nini? Farmers Choice, unaitishwa ETR. Ni watu wangapi wana ETR? Huyo mtu ataenda kupigia UDA kura. So we are very happy on how Ruto is vandalizing the economy, na najua kwamba hata kama wewe hujafikiwa na hii mismanagement na bad policies of UDA utafikiwa, because I can tell you watu wa bodaboda sasa hawasikia huyo mtu because ya mafuta. Watu wa Uber hawasikia huyo mtu kwa sababu ya Uber. Hawkers wamemwagiwa njugu na kila kitu huku Nairobi, hawawezi sikia huyo mtu. So at the end of the day I can tell you it is not going to get better for UDA. It is not even get better for this country. Everything is in a mess. Hakuna kitu inafanya kazi. Saa hii nasikia hata polisi, nasikia mpaka walimu wameambiwa saa hii kwa sababu NHIF ni mpya inakuja, hiyo mambo wajilipie kwanza. It is becoming difficult. And these are not stories. These are reality. Sisi tuko ground. This is the worst president that is going to have ever stepped into presidency in this world, because of his bad policy, because of his anasiita difficult decisions, but these are very bad policy. Una change kila kitu na mwaka moja, and it will affect his unless aibe bilioni 3, of which ukiimba milioni 3 ya kura, which will not be si kama hii ingine. Hii ingine it could have been easy because uko na kura ya 2 constituency ambao ni populous area. Uko na Mount Kenya na uko na Rift Valley, so kutop up ilikuwa rahisi. But I can tell you, if he tries to steal more than 3 million votes 2027, bro, ile kitu mliona 207 was a birthday party. That was a birthday party. Hii sasa ndio itakuwa Christmas. Hapa sasa ndio watu wanakurana na mdomo, because we are every day seeing these people on TV. It is painful. Can you imagine ati leo mtu anaitwa deputy president anaambia watu huko Baringo ati ya kwamba generator iliharibika kwa sababu ni fake. Ati Huru alinunua generator fake ndio sababu ati na generator ilikuwa inajua ya kwamba Ruto atashinda. So wakati sasa wameshinda na wamekaa 1 year ndio itaanza kuharibika, ndio waharibie jina. Are we fools? We are not fools, bro. So hii serikali hii ni ya kishetani, na tunashukuru Mungu sana kwa sababu it's disorganizing this government.
Generator nani ilikataa kuwaka?
Si JKA huku sikia vile deputy president akisema hiyo ni fake, ati zilinunuliwa vitu fake. Sasa tunashangaa kwa nini
anasema ukweli ama anadanganya.
Sasa let me ask you, kama kutoka siku ile JKA tunaijua, hata wewe unajua, umepitia huko miaka mingi, umeshaiona blackout mara 3 in a row? Something is very wrong. So mismanagement, and I will tell you why there is a blackout in Kenya, because people are not speaking this, but it's the truth. Biggest percentage of electricity, it is generated through generators that are diesel propelled. Hii diesel hawalipi tena. Ile diesel imekuja ni grade ya chini sana, so imeharibu generator mingi. I'm telling you things that I'm seen. So at the end of the day, hii mambo inakuja ikiripuka. Let me tell you, things don't just happen. They happen because there is a symptom. Let me tell you today, Leo, and I can see Jake he has come. Karibu sana. If you have a headache, sometimes it's not good to just take painkillers. Ask yourself, where is the problem coming from? Maybe ulienda Karumaindo pale inaitangwa Sabina Joy, ukasema mimi siwezi kula sweet na makaratasi, ukagusa, alafu baadaye ukapata infection ambayo sasa infection ikauma wewe kichwa, nao ndio sign ya kuonesha ya kwamba wewe yuko problem. Kwa hivyo hii generator kupotea na hii mastima kupotea ni symptoms za corruption. Ile ufisadi imejaa KPLC, kuna nuka. Saa hii hata ile mambo ya last mile imeisha. Saa hii hata kuna mwingine alikuwa anatuambia jana, kwa nini ukitaka kwenda kuchukua new meters you pay 100,000 because the corruption that has been brought. And I thank God ati huyu mtu alishinda, because I thank God that Ruto won. Why? Because kuna vijana wengi ambao walizaliwa 1990s. Tulikuwa tunawaambia Moi alikuwa mtu mbaya sana. That Moi was a very dangerous person. Kila kitu ulikuwa unalipia, mpaka driving license, mpaka ID, mpaka unaongana ndio upate passport. Wanasema wapi nini? Saa hiyo vitu yote imerudi bro. Imerudishwa by force by fire. Leo wametoa kesi ya Rotich na hata judge amestuka sana, kwa sababu walikuwa kwanza wameambia huyo magistrate kwa hiyo kesi, lakini judge amesema hivi, and I will quote, this is a well choreographed acquittal. Imetengenezwa kutoka State House, ikapigwa simu Faruk Kibet akaita Gitumbi, wakapiga simu wakaintimidate, wakaambia watu wa prosecution hivi ndivyo mambo itakuwa. Hakuna sheria inatumika katika nchi, na mtu asikuja kutuambia ati atashika polisi sijui mwizi wa kuku. Hiyo sasa ni ujinga. Kama wewe unanisikia na ni Mkenya na uko na nafasi ya kuiba saa hii, kwa sababu kila mtu ni mwizi, kuanzia rais, deputy president, na waza kutuambia sisi ati ya kwamba kuna kitu wanapigana nayo inaitwa corruption. There is nothing they are doing. These are evil people. That is what is happening on the ground. Na unaona EACC wakikimbiza polisi hapa na 50 bob. Na watu wameiba sakuwa. This is the kind of corruption we are seeing in this country, and we are not going, it's not going to get better. So
where's SG?
Yes.
Hii position ya nani ya huyu jamaa anaitwa Faruk Kibet ilikuwa position ya nani kwa wakati wa Uhuru ama wakati wa Kibaki ama Moi? Position gani hiyo? Inaitwaje hiyo position? Ni nafasi gani hiyo?
Hiyo ni Mr. Fixit, inaitwa Mr. Fixit. Ni mtu wa kwa
nani alikuwa na fix kwa wakati wa Uhuru? Is it my network or what? I don't know.
We can hear you just fine. SG, are you still there with us?
It's my network or SG network?
I think the network SG imefanya ile kitu. But that's the question you are asking. Uko unauliza swali gani?
Mimi nauliza kuna mtu sana kwa ako very powerful sana kwa hii serikali ya UDA. Anaitwa Faruk Kibet. Na nikiangalia kwa ile biography ya serikali sioni position yake ni gani. Hata kwa serikali za Kibaki, Uhuru, Moi, nani sijui hiyo position ni gani kwa hiyo serikali zote. Mzalendo unajua ako na miwani, anaangalia mbele zaidi kutuliko. Atatuambia hiyo ni sababu position gani.
You know, unauliza juu ya mtu anaitwa Faruk Kibet. I have never met him in person. mimi namsomaga tu kwa maforum kama hizi ama kwa magazeti that is a very close ally to the president. President ni binadamu kama wewe, kama captain, uko na rafiki yako, who is your best friend?
Wewe mzalendo mwenyewe ndio rafiki yangu. Wacha nikwambie, niulize mzalendo.
Mimi ni rafiki yako hapa kwa media.
Swali kidogo.
Lakini
Who is supposed to be close to president if not deputy president as we talk?
Now you see,
what do you mean?
You see hiyo muuliza sasa in I don't know how to answer that because the person who is supposed to be closest to the president is the wife and not
you are talking of love. I'm talking of when it comes to leadership and all whatever. Kwa sababu umeona Faruk Kibet ikifika national government performance and like not performance like functions and all whatever, Faruk Kibet ako mbele sana. Tunajiuliza huyu jamani nani?
Sijaona Faruk Kibet akifanya any government appointment. Sijamuona akibeba Biblia akiswear to the constitution of Kenya or allegiance or
that is
swearing.
What I'm asking you. Why is so powerful na hajabeba hiyo Biblia?
I think you have this imaginary power that umempatia. Mimi, I don't know Faruk Kibet. He has got not powers. He has no powers in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. He's just a private citizen doing his own things, and he knows the president. He's maybe a business associate. They've been with him in the political circle. They are friends. That is the much I know, that they were close na yeye na ni marafiki. Sasa marafiki, kama ni marafiki, sisi hatuwezi ingilia hapo sana urafiki hao. Walitoana wapi naye? Hiyo sasa wewe captain ndio unaweza tuambia walitoana na yeye wapi. Na hiyo urafiki yake na bwana Ruto imefanya bei ya umeme ikaenda juu, ama imefanya bei ya unga imeenda juu, ama ni nini? What are you trying to bring?
You know, Mzalendo, you are trying to take us, I don't know to where, I don't know. Let me not say that. Let me ask you, Mzalendo. Swali langu ndio. Sikiza swali yangu ndio. Hii position Faruk Kibet ako. Tunarudi kwa rais mstaafu Uhuru Kenyatta. Hiyo position Faruk Kibet ako nani alikuwa? Alafu turudi Kibaki, turudi Moi, turudi Kenyatta na nani alikuwa yuko?
Hii kwa Uhuru Murathe alikuwa na cheo gani serikali? Murathe
Murathe was the chairman of Jubilee. Sieti serikali. Murathe was the chairman of Jubilee.
Yes.
Murathe alikuwa na cheo gani kwa serikali?
He was the chairman of Jubilee, the chairman of the ruling party.
Yes.
He was the chairman of the
Jubilee party.
So he was the chairman of Jubilee party. Alafu rudi nyuma bado. Kabla kuwa chairman wa Jubilee party alikuwa ni nani?
Nani alikuwa Faruk wa Kibaki? Nani alikuwa Faruk wa Kibaki?
Kwa Kibaki's government there was this guy called
Hakuna usigesi hakuna nini?
No, mimi nakwambia sigesi kwa sababu nilikuwa hapo. Sigesi ile ndakwambia ni ukweli, sitakwambia guesswork. Ni jina yake tu ndio nimesahau. I will not guess. I'll tell you the person who was very very close to Kibaki and the person who he relied on so much. Jina ndio imenipotelea and he died, by the way. He died.
Why Faruk is becoming more powerful even than the deputy president? Why?
Why Faruk is becoming more powerful than the... Sasa I don't know which gauge unatumia. Unatumia gauge gani unipatie hii tujue? Yani ulitumia gauge gani?
Things, my brother.
Which gauge are you using? Which gauge are you using?
Do you know even Kenyans who are listening to some of us here, they cannot ask you, but they feel wanting to ask you that. Faruki bet hauwezi
I
fikia
think
Uhuru, hauwezi fikia president
I think
kama hujafanya Faruki.
I think Farouk is a private citizen, and I don't wish to discuss him on this particular
Okay,
forum. He has got
okay.
nothing to do with our politics.
Okay,
He has
Jakes,
got nothing
Jakes,
to do with
control
our
the
politics. He has
control
got his
the show
life to
now.
run.
Jakes can
Let
control the
us
show.
discuss on issues that we know. Vitu zile
Okay,
hatujui, wachana nazo. Hizo
okay, okay,
hazitusaidii. Yeah.
okay.
Bwana Leo, where have we reached? I need to be oriented.
No, actually, we just looked at some points of incompetency, and we've really seen how this man called Chirchir, Davis Chirchir, is failing the country. So if we looked at how he's failing the country, we found that he's somebody who's been incompetent historically. All the positions he's held, he was there in the ministry, he was the commissioner at the interim independent electoral commission, scandal ya chicken gate ikamkula huko. He was the CS energy and petroleum, corruption ikamkula hapo akatolewa. After year, when this guy called Osinde, the chief of staff in the office of the deputy president, died mysteriously, he was made the chief of staff in March 2022. He was also mentioned in the 2022 presidential elections as among the people who interfered with the IEBC servers. Then from that is when he was now brought back to this docket. So we are seeing he's been incompetent. He's been trailing negatively, and despite that, bado amepewa kazi. So the question we are asking, could it be that kuna mkono wake in giving, making William Ruto the president that makes him feel so powerful and so secure job-wise that he cannot be fired, he cannot be reprimanded. So that is where we are. At least we've had some constructive discussion. I think we are now 10 minutes to 3 hours. It's been some great time looking at that and looking at how incompetency can cost the country. So maybe you can pick it from there. Maybe you can pick it from there, and we can also have to look at some other things that are hitting the headline. I'm told bei ya mafuta pia imepunguzwa leo na like 5 shillings, though I know ukiona umeipunguza hivyo wana plan kuiongeza at the right time. So you can pick it from there.
But what do you think would inform it kuiongeza yet the world prices zinashuka?
Yeah, actually, that is where I want you to pick it from there, and you can maybe get some views.
Okay. Now that's why nimeanza na wewe. I want to have your view. Why? Why?
I'm there. I'm following. I'll get to respond later, because if you look at the price is reducing. Obviously, you've said it. The global price of fuel has really reduced. So it's just that the government was trying to make more money. We know very well. The country is not that the country is that broke, but you've been told some of the conditions. The country is being controlled by some foreign powers, and these foreign powers will always give you conditions. You have to meet this, you have to meet this. They think about themselves. They think about their loans, not that we are going to default. The only country that is having loans. Even these greater economies are also having loans, and they owe World Bank, they owe IMF. But these guys are now treating us as their juniors, and they're giving us conditions simply because we have a president who is a puppet, a president who is not strong enough to tell them the no. So that is what we are paying for. And if you see it drop, it doesn't drop maybe in the ratio of how it has dropped globally, but it is just a small drop to give you some, because people are, of late people are losing hope, people are complaining everywhere, hustlers are sending some messages, and the government is like it is losing it. So try to regain, to get some grip. They have to do something positive so that you at least forget and relax kidogo as they plan how to hurt you next. So that is maybe my thought on that.
Okay. Bwana Captain, what do you think is informing the low prices? And Leo is saying it's a ploy that saizi imeshukwa lakini itapanda very soon.
What are you saying?
Wanadai ya kwamba imeshuka lakini itapanda. Do you agree with that observation?
Nini mafuta ama?
Mafuta imeshuka na shilingi 5, shilingi 2 kwa diesel na shilingi 4 kwa mafuta taa.
And do you think the price that have fallen down is supposed to be like that? 5 shillings, surely.
Many were waiting for huge drops. Some were saying tulikuwa tunangojea 30 bob, wengine wangoja 10 bob. But now to our surprise
Kama mimi nilikuwa nangoja 50 kwanza. Nilikuwa nangoja 50. Kila mahali. So anyway, I don't know. It maybe it's because we've been having a lot of noise from the public. We've been having a lot of noise from platforms like these ones. Maybe the government now they are trying to wake up and say, hey, ni kama watu kumbe wanatuangalia. That's why they are trying to reduce that 5 shillings just to ignite our minds that the government is working. But in this sense, I don't see. For me, I don't see if there is any work.
Now, when you look at when ukiangalia jinsi tunaendelea, unaona kama tunaenda mbele ama tuna mark time.
Mark time.
Tunapiga hatua moja mbele,
tunaenda nyuma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now to the final story, because I think Rani was summarizing, and I'll get to have you guys give me your reaction to this. Rotich has been acquitted. Yeah, kesi ya Roll na Kimwarel imeisha. Of course, we'll be delving into that in, later on, maybe in the course of our shows. Rotich, kesi ya Kimwarel na Kimwarel imeisha tu hivyo. You know, Gava, or rather the courts zime declare prosecutor haku present enough proof. There was not burden of proof. Hakukuwa na enough he didn't do his duties correctly to the level that the courts felt hii kesi tuacha tu ya quit. Or rather kumekuwa na interference from somewhere mpaka inabidi tu hii kesi iishe. Yeah, we saw Rotich akicelebrate nje ya koti among many other things. What do you think?
I think, Jakes, you are going a lot of stories for nothing. For me, don't go far like, oh, Rotich what, Rotich that. Me, I know this thing has been done because of the second name. Nothing else. Nothing else. I just say that. The second name
as
has
long
made
as
Rotich.
the second name is Flani or Flani, you're safe.
Yes, that is it. Don't take for people in this platform to waste their time instead of discussing the very good things for our people to discuss
But
corruption.
I wouldn't
that
wish
is
to
approved by the
profile any
government.
community. I wouldn't wish to profile anyone. So if it is coming from you, then I'm safe because it's not.
It is coming from me, bro, and I approve that one, and I'm sorry to say so, but that is the case. Wait for me next time. You'll hear it, and I'll send you some clips. You'll feel people telling you that this guy has been acquitted just because of the second name, nothing else.
So the DPP, and the DCI and all these investigative bodies, they're independent, right? They don't take direction from anyone.
Yes.
How comes they're unable to fully execute their mandate constitutionally guaranteed to them? Mbona wanashindwa kufanya kazi yao?
Okay, when you remember the other day, they told us that they have had enough evidence to arrest the case of Mandago, and now this other guy is now released to be hakuna makosa alifanya. You understand?
We are talking of 63 billion.
Now,
Hizo zimeenda hivyo.
hiyo zimeenda hivyo. Now we have to go to Mandago. We are now leaving this other guy for finance in the previous government. So now we have to leave him. Kesi yake hatuna kesi naye. Tunarudi kwa Mandago. Mandago kesi yake itaisha na watasema hana kesi, tunaletewa tena mwingine. So there is no any competence in this government, bro.
Then, do we need these offices?
I've been telling you, and I've been saying that.
My question would be: do we need these offices if they cannot do their mandated duties, or do we need to change the occupants of these offices? because it's as though the occupants of these offices are the ones causing us more harm. The offices could be okay, but the personnel there ndio wako na challenge.
The constitution is defining all these things we are talking about. We have no any power. Yes.
Lakini hizi ofisi ni independent, hazichukui permission kutoka kwa rais ama parliament. Unaona vile IBC inafanya kazi yake independently. DPP ako very independent, right? Yeye anafaa fuatilie kesi to the very end. Hii kesi imestall for quite some time, only for it to be acquitted just like that. Nothing, hatujui kama hizi pesa zilitumika, hatujui kama ziliporwa, nothing. We are in the dark, yet someone has been employed using taxpayers money to investigate such things na hakuna matokeo. So do we even need the people? Do we need these offices? Or we should, what someone one time said, we should just allow corruption be the norm, because in any case, even if we only punish those small and petty crimes, if umeiba kuku, you will be jailed thoroughly, compared na mwenye ameiba 63 billion. We should now go for the petty crimes. We should allow these big guys just to continue, because now it seems as though we are hopeless, right? What do you think?
Okay, Jake, you don't take our people for a very long story. The case is very simple. In Kenya, if you know me and I am holding the biggest office, I'll clear you. You see, whether you are from which tribe, especially from my own people, I cannot say anymore anything anyway. This country is even taking another
So
shape.
your people are failing us. That's what you want me to ask you directly.
I'll answer it. I'll answer that. I will answer that.
And if that is anything to go by, this is the second time we have your people on the throne, and we have always said during the first tenure we were worse. We say
Not
that
even worse. We are more than worse.
So should we just expect the same? We should just shut up and just wait for things to become even worse, because that's the nature of, can I call them your people?
Yes. 5 years. Are we even half of it? Are we even half of it?
Tukiruka mwaka twende mwezi wa ngapi ndio
Are we half of it?
Half of it, yeah. We are almost there. We are almost there.
And then we know incumbency in Kenya, the incumbency take the leadership until 2020, 2032. Where are we taking Kenyans? Surely. And then you come here to tell us that, Kalonzo will be in the ballot, or Raila will not be in the ballot. What are we talking about? We are heading in a wrong direction, my brother. We are not going to the right direction. We have to see where are we failing.
Okay.
If you tell us now is Kalonzo is to compete with William Ruto, which competition is that? Are we talking about? Kuna mashindano hapo kweli?
Now 2027 ni mbali, and our politics zinakuwa na dynamics kibao sana, and a lot will come into play. So by the time tunafika 2027, a lot will have changed, and some things and some dices will have shifted. So let no one sit pretty thinking that they have the win or the loss locked in their arsenal. You know what? Things happen that no one anticipated. It has happened before, and it can happen again to any politician. Losing a seat happens, right? Amos Kemunya has ever lost his seat. Yeah. Jamal Ito Kabogo has ever lost his seat. You can go to the history, and the list will be from here to Timbuktu, that people who once won a seat lost their seat in the same constituency, probably with maybe slightly an increased number of voters, but the same people who once praised you at times become the same people who send you home. I come from a county, for instance, where we have never re-elected a governor. We don't joke when it comes to electing our governors. Mess us kidogo tu, we send you home so fast. It doesn't matter even if mwaka wa mwisho perform. Like for instance, the former governor really did a good job in his last 1-2 years in office, but that didn't still convince the electorate. So what am I saying in short? That it is not always automatic that since umeishi kuwin, that it is almost obvious utawin 2027. It's not always obvious. Things change, and people change their mind. People do change their mind, people do change their standing. There is no one who has been fixed to any political party, or he's solely behind someone forever. No, people change their loyalties. One time Babu Owino, not Babu Owino, this guy from the minister for sports, anaitwa nani, Ababu na Mwamba, one time sworn an allegiance to none other than Raila Odinga. One time he was a staunch supporter of the former PM. Where is he now? He is a cabinet secretary, not in Raila's government, but in Ruto's. So things change, bwana. Things change. So today, Mount Kenya might seem as though in support last time. Things might change. Eldoret might have supported him. Seriously, you never know. You just never know. And the more things are going, as I can tell you, I wish we had a by-election, or rather, I wish we had an IBC, and we have a by-election now. Then you will know what I'm telling you. Of course, there are so many by-elections awaiting, and I
But
can
Dex,
tell you for free,
we've been having a
there is
question here.
where the rubber will meet the road. Yes.
We've been having a question that Nabayas was having a question. Will Raila be in the ballot 2027?
For me, really doesn't matter whether he's in or not. The issue is, is the voter now fully educated to know that choices have consequences? Is the voter really educated to know that once you make a decision, once you make your bed, you lie on it? Is the voter really prepared to make a resounding change? So it doesn't really matter who is the opponent, who runs for government, for president. It doesn't really matter. The question is the mwananchi who decides, the mwananchi who votes, because all mwananchi, especially Kenyans, what we do, we recycle these guys. Yeah, as long as amehama chama, tunadhani amekuwa mzuri, right? But we bring them, go to parliament, you'll find kuna mtu ameingia na karibu vyama vyote. One time Ndwale said he has been in parliament for 4 times, and each time he went with a different political party. Not that he went with different because of the difference he had made in the lives of his electorate. No, it's because he had mastered the art of using the correct car that takes you to your proper destination. So for me, it doesn't really matter whether the old man is on the ballot or not. My question and my concern would be, is Mwananchi prepared to do the right thing? The right thing would mean choosing what he feels is right, whether allowing William Ruto to be the president, that's the right thing as per the voter. Whether sending him home, that will be the right thing as per the voter. So for me, I wouldn't start with who is on the ballot. I would start with the one who cast the ballot. Of course, yeah. That for me, that would make more sense than who is in the ballot, because we never know. Probably some of these people we think will be there might not even be alive. I'm not saying anyone will die, but I'm just saying things happen. Yeah, things happen, and 2027 is still a long way from now. Yeah, things happen. Good friends today, 2027 there will be rivals, right? You may think that kina Kangata, name them, that they'll be in one ship. No, it's not always obvious. At the moment, we are already seeing some msuko, including Cherargei and Murkomen. That if that is something we can debate on. So it's almost obvious that by the time tunafika huko mbele, the ship will have been rocked seriously. Some might survive, some might not. And of course, some of these MPs might be going home. I can tell you for free from where I sit. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, from where I sit, that's the much I can say. But maybe I can ask you then, whether Raila Odinga or William Ruto is on the ballot, what really should inform wananchi on the choices they make? Because as it is, it's like there is where we make mistakes. The politician has mastered the art of swindling the masses. Raia hawa wanasiasa wamejifunza jinsi ya kuhadaa Wakenya. So Mkenya anaweza fanya nini to avoid falling in such traps? Because I don't think Raila Odinga has it all, neither does William Ruto, nor most of these politicians, because all they have equipped themselves is a very beautiful tongue, right? Is a tongue that can toa nyoka pangoni, and of course iweke hiyo nyoka mpangoni. Now, if I may ask you, mwananchi, what can mwananchi do not to fall in such pitholes and probably make rightful decisions even as we near 2027?
Okay, you know, Jakes, there is no way Mwananchi can change anything. Mwananchi will go to the ballot, atacast vote yake, anaenda nyumbani. Kura zitahesabiwa form 32, sijui form 30 something, sijui form 70 what, inaenda pale Bomas. Tunakuja tunapewa results zingine, we will not know kama nani alishinda ama whoever watasema atashinda, tutashukuru hivyo. Lakini for me, mimi kama mwananchi na wewe tunateswa sana. Sijui mapema ndio best, mapema sijui ifanyike nini, lakini wale pale mbele wanajua mambo yao vile wanaenda kufanya. You see?
Okay.
Yes. So now what we have to do is we have that trust between us. Like now, Jakes, if I send you somewhere now, Jakes, niko na shida hivi, enda mahali nishughulikie hivi na hivi na hivi, you will not want to go out of your good heart. Ama uone ya kwamba yenyewe huyu jamaa amenituma, si lazima anilipe, lakini unataka nikulipe kwanza. So wewe unanituma hii kazi, utanilipa pesa ngapi? You see? Ama saa hii Jakes nikwambie, oh sawa Jakes, nataka shamba moja hapo plot center hapo kwenu, na napata na pesa ngapi? Utaniambia shamba iko broker, sijui anataka pesa ngapi ndio atupatie shamba ama nini. That is where now we are failing in our country.
Okay.
We cannot do our own things straightforward. Na ukiuliza hapa sasa mtu anakuambia oh hapana, wewe ndio ujui, tunaishi hivyo, sijui tutafanya nini? For what? From some of us where we are, hata kitu kama hiyo ati usijui mtu anakusaidia, amekuonyesha njia ama amekupeleka mpaka wapi, mtu hata anajitolea na gari yake na anakupeleka mpaka penye unaenda. Unataka kulipa mafuta, anakuambia hapana. Unajaribu kumpatia, hata unamlazimisha kumpatia, anakurudisha mpaka anakuingishia kwa shati, kwa shingo ya shati, hapa anakuambia hapana. Hawezi kubali kitu kama hiyo. Amejitolea kusaidia na amekusaidia, mambo ingine hajui. See, when will that happen in our country? Because if it happens in our country and we go now to leadership, I think we'll be moving somewhere.
Okay.
We'll be moving somewhere.
Okay. Allow me to, today I haven't greeted anyone. Allow me to do that, will you? Now, I see Goodyear Akondani. Asante sana Goodyear for being part of this great conversation. Namwona, hey, hii jina ni tricky kusoma. I don't know if it's Nerotic. Okay, I hope nimeisoma vizuri.
Next Rotich.
Niko na jamaa anajiita East African brother. Asante sana. I see you. Judith Mfugo. Sorry for that. I see you. Asante sana kwa ujumbe wako. Hello to you as well. Na wengi ambao mnatuma ujumbe zenyu ninaziona hapa kwa comment section. Thank you very, very much. We are glad that you chose this to be your entertaining station. Namuona Pen Nyagaka ako ndani. We sawa, asante sana mzee. I see you. Thank you very, very much. I see Leo is in. I see Shubin ako ndani. Asante sana. You guys have beautiful names. Namuona Caleb Ndolo ako ndani. Thank you very much, my brother. Who else? Nani mwingine? Namwona Bosco Taban ako ndani. Wilkif Okoth ako ndani. Prince Malanzi ako ndani. Silver Shine Cleaners wako ndani. Jalas Fencing wako ndani. Thank you very much for commenting. Thank you very much for participating in this awesome conversation. Thank you very, very, very much. It's always a pleasure. Now, we have another great one. Another great show happening immediately after this, not immediately, rather 8 a.m. How many hours from now? 6 thereabout hours from now. Tuko na show ingine, so please stick around there. Watu wanachambua magazeti, we huko ndani bwana, show kali, show fiti. You don't want to miss that one, so please stick around for that. As well, we have other great shows in the pipeline. Very soon we'll have other great interesting shows. Si zote zitakuwa za politics, others zitakuwa about real life issues. I know you enjoyed the one we had on Sunday, kuhusu mashamba. So if you want to buy land in Kenya, please, and as well, even abroad, watch that show. We'll be telling you when next we have that show again, but due to public demand, you have requested to have that show re-aired. That shall be re-aired. You have equally asked if you can have her back again. That one as well has been granted. So we'll be telling you how soon the engineer will be back in the show. So kindly stick around. Above all, subscribe to Afriq 24. Subscribing to Afriq 24 guarantees you great prizes. Here at Afriq 24, Christmas comes early. So what do? Subscribe and let us make your moment for Christmas magical. So subscribe to Afriq 24 to hapo YouTube, and we shall keep you quite entertained, and of course we shall keep you well hooked to matters politics, matters social, and all forms of issues affecting us as human beings. Asanteni tu sana wadau, asanteni tu sana. I don't know if Kip ulikuwa umepewa time ya kupeana closing remarks, but I give you that awesome moment to do that.
Oh, you are closing now?
Yeah, because naona ni kama mkuwa mmepolish sana, but we have another show in the morning and another one tomorrow evening. So the shows are two now. We have one in the morning, that is Afriq Dailies in the morning, and we have this show in the evening, every day from 10 p.m. So yeah, maoni yako ya mwisho tunapomalizia maoni yako yatakuwa yapi?
Okay, I don't know. I didn't know that you are coming to close. I thought you will be here until tomorrow morning. But for me, I was to leave you here running the show by yourself. But no problem.
I
We
don't
are now
want to run the show by myself.
It's another good night. So many of us. So good night, good evening, good morning, wherever everyone is. The darkening of the nation through incompetency is what we were discussing. And my position is still the same, that to my people, whereby they are watching me right now, what I'm telling them is that during the Moi era, even though it was not a good government, but the cost of living was not that high as it is right now. But Moi tried himself, and until where we are, they still even can talk of Moi. But now, the cost of living with our brother or my brother or the president himself, it's even giving me a lot of questions, and many people who cannot come online to say or to express their views. Let's not be the people to be blamed in the near future that there are some people we cannot give leadership. We gave them leadership, this and that, but all that happens, we are crying. Let's do the best. Do your part as a person. Don't do your part for a community. Just do your part as a person. Do what your heart is telling you, and you'll be rewarded by your God. Don't do another thing. If you are paid what you are paid, get your salary and get satisfied on that. Don't punish other people to get money outside your salary. In the name of you want to get more money or you are helping this and that. It's your work to help that. Don't overcharge people. Don't do what just because you want to make your life better than God knows how your life will be. If you have any leadership, perform to the best of your ability and deliver to the best of your ability to the people you are serving. Don't overcharge anyone. Don't do anything skyrocketing that will cost your life in the future. It cannot even cost your life as at the current in your life, but it will cost even the life of your children. You have to remember such things.
Okay, now I wish to end this show with a quote, and I'll ask you to tell me what do you think this quote means. This quote is by Roosevelt. He said that a selfish victory is always destined to be an ultimate defeat. A selfish victory is always destined to be an ultimate defeat.
You
What
know,
do you
I'm
make?
not good in such sayings, because for me, masomo yangu ni ile ya 1+1 ongeza 2 3. Tumesoma mbele, Mungu atajibu hapo mbele.
Fanyanga hivyo.
Sawa sawa.
Okay, it's
Masomo
okay.
yangu ni ile ya kawaida ya nyumbani ile. Unaona?
Sawa sawa, but that
So
saying
ukileta
is
sayings kama hii, tutaita watu kama kina Dennis Tumbi watatudivainia. But what I can say, Jex, a selfish victory will always destined to be ultimate defeat. You see? I think I can compare with pride comes before you fall. That is what I can answer on that thing.
Okay, and that's the quote of the day here at Afriq, and of course it comes from that renowned guy known as Roosevelt. That you know what, a selfish victory is always destined to be an ultimate defeat. I've been your host, of course, in conjunction with Nyabaya, and I played a song jana nikaambiwa niirudie, so show ilisha kabla sijairudia. So to that guy who requested it, here you go. Thank you very, very much. God bless you. See you tomorrow. Remember, a selfish victory is always destined to be an ultimate defeat. Asante.
And pride comes before you fall.
Okay, beautiful.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe huru. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, sote eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Twaenda mbio kokote, Kenya yaenda mbele kokote. Kwa elimu twaenda mbele bära